First off-season stream of the off-season, technically speaking. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. A really remarkable season. I mean, really. They just were the best team all year long, and everybody was doubting them, myself included at times, doubting them, picking against them, finding reasons as to why they weren't going to do it, and they ended up doing it. But it became pretty obvious in the playoffs. It became pretty obvious. Of course, you doubted the Heat too. How does that make you feel? Well, hey, listen, everybody doubted the fucking Heat. All right, so. Anyways, of course, today I want to do my top 100 player stream, which is probably going to be a longer stream. There's a huge outpour of news. Mavs are the betting favorites to land Mavs are the betting favorites to land LeBron. Like, betting favorites, I'm interested to see how often that actually matters. How often do betting favorites for trade targets or free agents actually make a difference? Are they're actually correct? I'm interested in knowing. So let's talk about some of the news going on before we dive deeply into our top 100. Bradley Beal's going to get traded. The reporting around this is weird. It's like, yeah, if the Wizards rebuild, Beal and his agent are going to be working together for a trade. To me, that reads like, hey, we're trading his ass, but we're not just going to outright say it right now because we want some leverage. Zion or Kyrie? I mean, I'd rather have Zion just because he's younger, but Beal to me feels like a Heat or Sixer, and that's just kind of it. Heat makes the most sense. Miami makes the most sense. They need a half-court player. I'm actually pretty scared about the Heat making a big play for Kyrie. I think they will. I think it makes a ton of sense for them. But I will say this, though. Sign and trades. I'm more scared of the teams that can just outright go and get Kyrie, and there's just not, like, Houston would scare me. Only because I don't want to lose Kyrie for nothing. Bradley Beal's bank account or Bill Russell's basketball playing career? Hey man, Beal's bank account. I'm a sellout. What can I say? Oh, a Twitter notification. And there's also been some very strange Zion rumblings lately. Like a decent amount of smoke there. I've told you guys that around this time of the year, you can't believe anything. But there is, like, if there's a decent amount of smoke surrounding something, that might be worth looking into. Like the Zion stuff. There's actually a good amount of smoke around this now. Would you want Avdia or Gafford on the Mavericks? Yeah, I've come around. I would do Avdia and Gafford for 10. I would do that. There was another trade scenario. I gotta be honest, guys, like, we can't. It's fun speculating about trades. It's really fun. I love doing it. I love this time of year. Smoke screens. We all know they're smoke screens. I don't really care. It's fun to speculate and talk about things. But I try not to get super fucking mad about stuff that's not even going to happen. This came out earlier today, and I actually have not looked at this mock draft, and I want to. The NBA decided to force Zion to wear a chastity belt. That's some shit that my God. I forgot the last commissioner. Oh my God. That's David Stern. Jesus. That's something David Stern would do. You really got fat since last time you streamed. I streamed 2 days ago. CJ, man, get the fuck out of here. Jesus. CJ just, every time I start a stream, CJ walks in here, hey, what's up, ugly fat bitch? And it's just like, dude, can I just like start the stream off and then we can get into that? Like, can I at least just get through the intro part of the stream and then we can go, then we can talk about me being fat? Like eating all this. Hot dog, pizza, what's that? Is that like gumbo? Taco, burrito? What up, Kev? If I had to rank those foods right there, I'd go this last, because admittedly I don't know what it is. What is that, like gumbo? Pizza 1. Hot dog 2, man. Honestly, it's really hard to fuck up a hot dog. Then taco, then burrito. Oh, that's a pasta. Need to remote stream at a bar in Dallas sometime next season. That does sound fun. I was thinking about doing, like, how could we like do live stuff? Yeah, there's no shot it's gumbo at all. That would be a crazy emoji to have. Anyway, sorry, I don't know. I don't even know how we got to this. I got mad at somebody calling me fat and then I ranked food. So anyways, if you guys haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. Helps me out tremendously. It's YouTube and having a great time, of which we are. All right. So this was going around Mavs Twitter circles today. Some trade scenarios could be in play for the Pistons with the number 31 pick as well. For example, packaging Bojan Bogdanović for Tim Hardaway Jr., the 10th overall pick. That shit's not happening. Like, this is not happening at all. There's no point in getting like pre-mad at trades. It's not going to happen. Okay. It's fun to speculate, but then like people get like really pissed off and upset about rumors like these. And it's like, dude, these aren't even like substantial rumors. Let's see. I honestly, I don't even know what this draft looks like. They still got Brandon Miller going too, man. That's going to be a fucking mistake. That's got to be a mistake, man. It's going to be a mistake. Hot dog's got to be grilled on the barbecue. Grill and bun also. I'd eat a hot dog raw. Scoot Anderson third. Amen. Cam Whitmore. Sir Jarris Walker. Anthony Black. Taylor Hendricks. So this is the nightmare. I have watched Spider-Verse. It's elite. This is the nightmare top 9, right? For the Mavs. This would be the nightmare top 9. Derek Lively 10 for the Mavericks. You know, if the top 9 goes this way, this is assuming like Bilal doesn't actually go top 9, which some people think he will. Yeah, Cason Wallace has some buzz top 9. Like, this would be a very chalky top 9, which is very possible. And in this outcome, Grady Dick or Derek Lively, if you keep the pick, makes sense. Like Cason Wallace, I could see too. I mean, I would. Kobe Buffkin on the Thunder. Oh my God, they get 2 SGAs. I'm on the Leonard Miller at 15 trade, trading back for Capella. That trade is so good. I don't. The more I think about it, I don't know if. The more I think about it, I don't know if it actually. If the Hawks would accept that unless they love somebody in the top 10. Oh, here we go. Some trades I can see happening for Beal if he does get moved. Dallas, Beal, Hardaway, Bertans, pick 10 in 2026 first. Can't even trade that, but what the hell, man? Why would we do that? This doesn't make any sense for the Mavericks, especially if Kyrie's staying. But Beal for Maxey Harrison, a 23 first-round pick. I'm not going to lie. I think it could be Beal for Harris and like a future first straight up. Would you take 21 and 22 from Brooklyn for 10? No, I wouldn't take that. They'd have to attach a player or something. Hawks could maybe want to come off money. It would have to be, well, this is, to be fair, this is a Wizards guy, so we can't shit on him too much. Like of course, like Washington fans are gonna say this, but I think like to Philly for Tobias Harris and a future first, considering Beal's contract, is probably the best you'll get, because Tobias is expiring. You don't have to worry about that money at all anymore. Yeah, I have recently seen the DeRozan to Mavs things too. That happens all the time. It's not happening. It doesn't make any sense. Kuminga at 19 for THJ and 10. So the Jonathan Kuminga trades were floating around on Twitter earlier today too, because I think SJ was talking about it. I would not do Kuminga straight up for 10. No fucking way. No chance. Absolutely no chance. One, I don't think that's Kuminga's value at all. Like, I think that you're overpaying for Kuminga. And two, like, here's my thing about Kuminga. He is still just an upside player. Like, he's still he's a project. He's a projection. Everything you might like about Kuminga is his potential, which is the same thing you like from a 10th overall player. And Kuminga's contract extension eligible next year. So, I don't know. 10 for Kuminga and 19. THJ and 27 for Gafford and Denny. That makes things very interesting. I think you guys are overvaluing the 10. I think that's partially true, but dude, the Thunder gave up 3 first-round picks for the 11th overall pick last year. Like, if you like it, if a team likes a guy enough, it's valuable. Pacers aren't coming out. Yeah, Miles Turner's not getting traded, man. He's just not. If we sign Cat, will there be a Luka Farewell stream? Oh, yeah, I already said. If the Mavericks trade for Karl Anthony Towns this offseason, I'll do an 8-hour stream. Nothing but Luka mock trades. Anyways. So, Beal's going to get traded. Sounds like KP's going to opt in. So is he going to opt in and get traded? That's interesting. I'm interested to see how that plays out. I feel like his market could be kind of interesting. Yeah, I could definitely see the Wizards. Like, listen, the Wizards, there was reports earlier that the Wizards were wanting to move up to the top 3. They have what? They have the 9th overall pick? No, they have the 8th. I think, yeah, 8th overall pick. If they could snag 10 in a trade, and maybe another pick down here for some players, like, they could package that to move up a little bit, I think. Maybe not into the top 3. How do you feel about the KP trade to the Wizards in hindsight? Where KP's value was at the time, that was probably the best you're going to get. Got off the contract. It's just it wasn't working out, and his value was low at the time, and he needed to go. And for Denny and Gafford ain't even that bad. No, that's a good trade. I would do that. I like Denny Avdia, and I like Daniel Gafford. Like, Denny's a very, very good defensive wing. You get 2 young players. You have to pay Denny soon, I think. But Gafford's like under team control for a while. I don't give a fuck how it happens, but damn, the Mavs better get a starting caliber center. It's gonna be, dude, I can't believe the draft is in 8 days. NBA does not waste time. Bilal's really raw to me. Like a little too raw for my liking in the top 10. But I don't know. His wingspan is fucking nuts. Okay. Did you guys know Luka has a 7'3" wingspan? Did you guys know that? That's actually crazy. Yeah, Derek Lively at 10 is a crazy reach. But I'm not gonna if the top 9 goes this way, I mean, it's like if you're staying with the pick, Lively, Grady Dick, Bilal could be an option, Leonard Miller could be an option, Kaysen Willis could be an option. Or Kaysen Wallace, sorry. Kaysen Wallace could be an option. Damn, they got Leonard Miller going 26th. I can't imagine taking like fucking Jett Howard over a guy like Leonard Miller. Why not take Buffkin? Oh, I love Buffkin. Just wouldn't be able to spread his wings and fly. All right, before we dive headfirst into my top 100 players, it just so happens that The Ringer updated their top 100 player list, or 125, whatever it is. This shit is ass. Spider-Verse reference? Did I? If I did, it wasn't intentional. Luka 7 is hilarious. There's just no way you think Tatum is better than Luka. There's just no way whatsoever. Especially, these people are paid for a living to watch basketball and talk about it. There's just no possible way you think Tatum is better than Luka. Like, Embiid better than Luka. I'm sorry, man. There's no fucking way. And this is a spoiler alert for my top 100. There's no way Embiid can be in the top 5 right now. He just can't. What are we on? 7 postseasons in a row of dog shit? Like, how many in a row is it? I mean, I'm losing track. Oh, well, his fucking pinky finger and his knee. Well, I don't give a shit. All right, it's every single postseason. What do you want me to do with this information? Kawhi gets hurt all the time, but at least when he's in the playoffs, he looks like the best player in the league. Okay? Why is Kevin Durant top 4? What's going on with the Kevin Durant stuff? Did he send out his like money? Were black SUVs parked outside of NBA riders' houses recently? I don't understand. I do not understand the KD stuff lately. Like, you had Zach Lowe saying KD still had an argument for best player in the league. Somebody on the Bill Simmons podcast said, oh, you think Jokic is past KD? It's like, what? Like, yeah, no fucking shit. Again, spoiler alert, I don't even have KD as the best player on his team right now. All right? Spoiler alert. That might be disrespectful, but from what I witnessed in the postseason, KD is always on, books the coin flip. That was not the case in the postseason. I thought Jokic, Giannis, Curry, and Luka were consensus top 4. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I mean, Tatum, what are we doing? Embiid, seriously? Like, how many in a row is it gonna take? Like, do we need to get to double digits postseason disasters in a row? Like, do we need to get to double digits? Like, do we need to get to double-digit postseason collapses and embarrassments in a row before we actually start to, talk seriously about this? All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. I'm excited about this one. I went pure gut and heart. Last time it was very analytical. I spent weeks working on it. This time it's pure heart. Pure heart and guts and glory. First and foremost, I want to take a look at my previous top 100, and I'll just mention some guys who fell out. This was from May. So there's not too much crazy movement. Because I guess, for some reason, I thought we did this in February. But we didn't do a top 100 thing. Actually, it wasn't in May. It was in, like, March. So not too much time has passed, especially for guys who didn't make the playoffs. So there's not too much crazy movement for some guys. KCP is still in. Cam Johnson's definitely in. Heald still managed to squeeze his way in. HB is out. HB dropped out. Not a great postseason for him. Was hanging on by a thread anyways. Steven Adams out. Been hurt for too long. Josh Hart out. I know HB was injured a little bit. Josh Hart out. That second round series left a weird taste in my mouth. Kelton Johnson also out. Just some playoff guys get added in. That's just how the game goes. Nothing Kelton Johnson did. Zubac's out. I believe Şengün is out. I think pretty much everyone else is staying put. Unless there was a crazy fall off. I'm pretty sure Quickly is still in, but that postseason was shocking. Oh, Herter is out. He was god-awful. He was god-awful in the playoffs. Herter did not make it. Man, scroll past Mike Conley. Oh, yeah, Mike Conley's still in it. D'Lo, out. Adios. I think Tobias is still in it, barely. I don't think anybody fell this far from grace, so we're good the rest of the way. Yeah, everyone else is still in the list. All right, let's go. Let's get into it. Top 100 players in the NBA post NBA Finals edition. Now listen, I'm a big playoff guy. Maybe I'm a little bit more reactionary to the playoffs than I should be, but it's the most important thing in. It's the most important thing in the sport. Are you a playoff performer or are you not? Are you a playoff performer or are you not? That matters to me. That matters to me. Let's get right into it. Now, there'll also be a big championship tax. You'll see some Heat players in here. You'll see some Nuggets players in here. I mean, if you win the championship and you contributed, you're going to rise up quite a bit. All right. Let's get into it. Number 100. KCP. So this number right here is my first one before the season started. This one was the midseason one. So KCP stays at 100. Very, very solid role player. Just nothing more, nothing more to say outside of that. A very, very good role player. I love this trade. I love this trade when it happened. I was shocked at the amount of people who didn't like this trade when it went down. There was actually a good amount of analysts who did not like this trade. I thought it was incredible. I thought KCP would fit like a glove next to Jokic, and he did. And he did. He was great, shot well, played good defense. Had some playoffs up and downs, but I mean, who doesn't really? Every role guy is going to have games in the playoffs that make you want to rip your fucking hair out. 38% from three in the postseason. Solid. Number 99, Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin. Is this reactionary? I don't give a shit. This guy should have won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. This guy should have won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And if that's you, then you belong in the top 100, even if you kind of fell off entirely after that. Caleb should be way higher. What? I don't want to be too reactionary. I'll be a little bit reactionary. I think having Caleb Martin in the top 100, period. Think about how good you have to be in the top 100. But if you're, like, it's a little reactionary to put him in the top 100, period. How about this in the postseason for Caleb Martin? The Heat were +6 when he was on the floor and -7 when he was off. That is a massive swing right there. But should have won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Without a doubt. I think Cody played for the Nuggets. We got switcherooed. Yeah, it wasn't great in the finals. It wasn't great in the finals. By the way, this is the full season, but playoffs matter more. So just keep that in mind too. At number 98, Buddy Hield stays put. One of the best volume shooters of the NBA. I value that. That's why I've actually warmed up quite a bit on Tim Hardaway Jr. the more I think about him. And also a very, very big net positive on the Pacers. They're just better when he plays. I like Buddy Hield. Nothing more really to say about him. Can do a little bit more than just shooting. Discount THJ. You know, THJ, I thought about putting him on this list, but I think Hield is definitely a little bit better than THJ. I think he can just do a little bit more off the dribble than THJ can. But I like Buddy Hield. Solid player. Solid player. At number 97, that's right. RJ Barrett makes his return. I was kind of impressed by what I saw with RJ Barrett in the postseason. As somebody who was a hater of his, I was a little impressed by what I saw with him in the postseason at times. Did he have some classic RJ Barrett stinker games? Yes, but everybody on New York outside of a certain somebody did. RJ re-enters. I don't think he's the best player. I'm still very harsh on him. I don't think he has a super high ceiling. But he was just on the outside looking in on my last rankings, and now he's back in. We're doing this from the tail end? Yeah. Buckle up. Grab some fucking popcorn. 96, Austin Reeves enters the fray. I thought about it. I think he's a top 100 player in the NBA. I like the skill set he brings to the table. I like the self-creation. I like his playmaking ability that is there. I like his ability to get to the free throw line. Those are all valuable skills to have. And not a horrific defender either. A strong player. 17 points per game in the playoffs. That's actually nuts. He might even be a little bit higher than this. 17 points per game in the playoffs. Damn. Did it during the season and postseason. Respect. Yeah, Reeves might honestly deserve to be a little bit higher than this, if I'm just being honest. Now that I'm thinking about it, 44% from 3 in the playoffs too. Lakers +6 when he was on, -8 when he was off. Hey man, Austin Reeves making a name for himself. At number 95, Bruce Brown. I think hold on. Bruce Brown is like a quintessential role player. Austin Reeves is probably a little bit more talented than Bruce Brown, but Bruce Brown is just like a perfect role guy. Like perfect. Plays defense, can shoot threes, can pass, can attack closeouts, does whatever the fuck is asked of him. The shot can abandon him at times. But Bruce Brown is a role guy everybody in the league would want on their team. As a Laker hater, Reeves should be higher. Reeves probably does deserve to be a little bit higher, now that I'm thinking about it. 94, Jordan Clarkson. Didn't make the playoffs, obviously. Not going to spend too much time on the guys who did not make the playoffs. Still like Jordan Clarkson's bucket-getting ability. It's one of the best in the league, really. How the fuck is Bruce over AR-15? Why slightly come on? Championship tax. All right, like I said earlier, you win the ring, you're going to be a little bit higher in my mind than teams that didn't. But also just like such a perfect plug-and-play role guy. Would you trade Hardaway in the 10th pick for Kuminga in the Warriors pick? Yes, I would. I've already said that earlier in the stream. Jordan Clarkson, bucket getter, like him, can play off ball, great offensive talent. Clint Capella, still a fan of his, although he is like just perpetually around this 90 range. I thought you didn't like shot checking players. Yeah, but Jordan Clarkson's pretty efficient at it though. And he was a huge clutch bucket this whole season. I mean, that stuff doesn't really carry over usually, but was a little underwhelmed by Clint's postseason performance, although he had some decent games. But yeah, he's getting old, and still would love him on the Mavericks. Still think he's a really nice fit next to Trey. But, you know, what else is there really to say about Clint Capella at this point? Mitchell Robinson, just sort of the same thing as Clint Capella. I like Mitchell Robinson's game. There's times where it's just kind of weird to me, but a freak on the glass. You know, just a player where I don't know what playoffs look like with Mitchell Robinson, to be 100% honest with you. Maybe the way the league is trending. A player like Mitchell Robinson can make some sense now that bigs are kind of coming back. But yeah, he's a great offensive rebounder. A great rebounder in general. Like one of the best in the league, and he has been. But yeah, Hartenstein did definitely outplay him at times. Like Hartenstein feels like a little bit more like a playoff guy than Mitchell Robinson. I don't know. 92 just feels about right. Giddey drops a little bit. 91. I've been thinking about Giddey a lot lately. Some stuff from him I love. Some stuff I don't. I really don't know what to feel about him at all. Like, I'm still in wait and see mode with him. I'm still in wait and see mode with Giddey. I think he's a top 100 player. I would be excited to have him on my team if I were the Thunder. But I'm not ready to go to where some people are at with him. Does that make sense? I mean, he shot, like he had moments this year where he shot pretty decently. I would love to see what he looks like once the Thunder get really good. That's what I'm really interested in. Yeah, the playoffs. That's what I'm really intrigued by. I feel like Caruso should drop more than this. One of the absolute best defenders in the NBA. No doubt about it. Wing defense, very valuable. But he is an offensive black hole. I thought about dropping him a little bit more than this. All defense this year. Bald tax, that is true. That is very true. But he was an offensive black hole. I struggled with his ranking. Admittedly. But I do really like the defense. It's otherworldly elite. You'd rather have Bruce Brown? I could see that. I feel like I'm a little bit too high on Caruso, admittedly. A little bit. I think I went a little too aggressive with the 79 here, and it threw me off a little bit, if that makes sense. He should be a little bit lower than this. I still think he's top 100, but probably slot him in towards the very back half. Like, yeah, maybe in front of RJ. All right, top 90. Tobias Harris. Hey! I'm still a believer. In Toby. Hey, I'm still a believer in Tobias Harris. Blame everybody except yourself, Embiid. Keep doing it. See what happens. Hey! Tobias Harris, 60% true shooting in the playoffs. Like, are we ever going to get serious about him? Like, yeah, he's overpaid. But we've been knowing that for 4 years, okay? Now what? Huh? You're going to keep blaming everything on him? Yeah, so what? He had 2 points in game 6. Embiid, where the fuck were you in the closing minutes, huh? You're the superstar. Where the fuck were you? Oh, missing in action yet again? Wow. Would say I'm surprised, but I'm not. We're really in a world where we have to defend having Tobias Harris in the top 100. Well, that's just the Philly sports fan mafia, right? They can never blame Embiid, ever. So it's got to be Tobias Harris now, because it was Ben Simmons, and that made sense. Although I still think blaming that Hawks series entirely on Ben Simmons is completely and totally absurd, because Embiid shit in his britches at times during that game. He drops a little bit, though, admittedly. Too many 2-point games. Too many 2-point games. Vucevic at 88. God, I don't know what the fuck to do with Vucevic. Is he a good player? Yes. Does he put up good numbers? Yes. Is he a good offensive player? Yeah, he's actually a really, really good offensive center. Do I want him on my team for a good amount of money? No. So I don't really know what to do with him, but he's about right here. Like, this feels just about right to me. Just feels right to me. All right, around here. Don't know what his next contract looks like. So let's talk about it. Because I'm ready to talk about it. You guys are. Let's talk about it. I think Russell Westbrook played really, really well for the Clippers. And I actually think he played well enough that I thought his career was maybe on the brink of being completely and totally over. That now I think, you know what? There is a role. There's a role out there for Russell Westbrook. I assume this list is like ranking who you'd want for a one-year rental. So here's the idea behind this list. I made this list. I made the preseason list. Then I made the midseason list based purely off of this year. And it was just a building block moving forward. So every list we do moving forward will be based off of this list. Russ was good in the playoffs. Let's look at some of his games, man. All right, so Kawhi, game 3 onwards does not play. Game 3, Russ, 30 points, 12 assists, 3 steals. Game 4, Russ, 37 points. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if Russ is legit cool with, you know, being more of a role guy, there's definitely a place for him in the league, for sure. Yeah, I'm doing game streams next year, 100%. 100%. This year just got weird with the copyright and stuff that I just said, you know what? I can't risk this shit. Let's just wait. Your top 100 is more he got that dog in him version of the Ringers. Well, it's also, you know, I watch the games. You know, the media wants to shit and laugh at Russell Westbrook. Not me, man. Not me. I'm looking at Russ's game logs. I forgot he was actually on the Jazz. He didn't play, but like he has game logs of inactive for Utah. Russell Westbrook showed me something in the postseason. It's not over for him. It's not over. Dinwiddie shit in his pants. There was a part of me who was like, God, am I even convinced Spencer Dinwiddie's a top 100 player? He was playing outside of his role in Brooklyn, okay? He's not a point guard. He should not be the lead facilitator. It's just not his game at all. Not his game whatsoever. But he was really good at the start of the season in Dallas. He's a much better 2 guard. You know, I don't want the ball in his hands, though, as a lead point guard. Like, that's just it. It's not really his fault. Okay? They need to if that's what they got going on at the start of next season, that's bad. I moved Pirtle up a little bit. I like Pirtle. He's solid. He's solid as hell. That's about what I could say about him. And maybe I'm a little bit, maybe I got a little bit excited about him too, based off some reports that like his market is much bigger than people think, and he's going to get much more than people think. Don't think he's elite. Don't think he's great. Just think he's solid as hell. Would I want to pay a guy like this a bunch of money? No, not really. But just a solid player. Good rebounder. Strong paint protector. The Austrian war machine. Thoughts on boring finals or easy path narrative? Non-serious basketball fans are saying that. I don't really know what to say. It's funny because I have people in my life who are like, oh my God. Like this NBA postseason has sucked. Like the NHL postseason has actually been fire. I didn't watch a second of hockey, playoff hockey. How the fuck in a hockey game does the season end in a 9-3 game? And you want to talk about the NBA being the NBA finals being boring? 9-3. I didn't even know a score like that was possible in hockey. I didn't even know it was possible to score 9 goals. So shout out to Jakob Poeltl. Robert Williams. I didn't realize I didn't have Robert Williams ranked. But then I realized it was probably injury related. But God, he just can't stay fucking healthy. But he is good when he's healthy. I mean, there was a stretch where he didn't like miss a shot. How long did he go without missing a shot? He had like 18 straight makes at some point or something crazy like that. Mason would know better than me. But Rob Will's got that dog in him. Can't stay healthy. Not somebody... Yeah, he didn't miss until like game 6 versus Hawks. Crazy ass stat. But just a solid ass center. A solid center. If he's like your guy at that center position, you're a little bit scared because, again, you just can't rely on him. But they do have like Al Horford and Luke Cornett and Mike Muscala, who every time I saw him in the playoffs, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They traded for Mike Muscala. I forgot about that. Norm Powell. A sneaky good series. And just, again, kind of like the guard equivalent of Jakob Poeltl. And just a solid player. You know, if he's on your team, you love it. You're not going to throw a bag at him, but he's going to be good. He's going to get buckets. He averaged 21 points in that series. 60% true shooting. Just a bucket getter. I've always liked Norman Powell. I wanted the Mavericks to make a play for him a couple years ago. But just a solid guard to have. By the way, you said Luke Cornett. I thought he was next. I think Norm would have one six man of the year if he didn't get hurt. Yeah, he definitely was a strong 6 man of the year candidate all season long too. No, Gary Trent's not on the list. I struggle with Gary Trent. Right on the outside looking in, though. I did think about putting him on there. Suns targeting Powell for Paul. Is that true? Why does that kind of make sense? That trade would actually kind of make some sense. Anyways, Norman Powell, I like his game a lot. Anthony Simons, just don't know what to do with this kid, man. I think he is a little bit overrated for sure. He's definitely overrated as an asset. Just think he's a solid scorer. Just think he's a solid scorer. The defense and the size is just like, don't know what you could ever really get for him. 6 man sounds about right. So Chris Paul is on this list, and I'm a little bit sad as to how high I have him. I wish I dropped him more in retrospect. He's not like super high or anything, but I wish I put him like in this range. Next up, we have Brogdon. I know he was hurt at the end of the postseason. But I think this is about fair for Brogdon. It's hard. It's really hard to judge him because he was hurt towards the end of the playoffs. The last 5 games for and Brogdon's defense was a big disappointment this year actually. The last 5 games for Brogdon, 0 points, 2 points, 0 points, didn't play because of injury, 0 points. 6th man of the year is true. I think this is about fair for him. I think I would like for him to be higher, but just got hurt at the end. Kind of left a weird taste in my mouth. Not really his fault. But his defense all year was disappointing. Like, he was like a fucking traffic cone out there at times. I don't know about lockdown guy, but he was a strong guard defender. Like a strong defender for a guard. But he had a really good season, though. 6th man of the year. Still a really good player. I like him a lot. 81's not bad. It's hard to be a top 80 player in the league. Walker Kessler stays at 80. I have a scorching hot take coming up here in a few spots, by the way. I'm a big believer in Walker Kessler. Big believer in him. Game-changing defensive talent. Game-altering defensive player. And definitely could be higher than this. Don't know what like his absolute ceiling is, to be honest with you, but could 100% be higher than this, and probably will be a little bit higher than this, like in the preseason rankings. Walker Kessler's the kind of pick the Mavs need this year. Yeah, the Timberwolves did fuck themselves badly. Jaden McDaniels is still here. Broke his hand like an idiot. Did not play in the playoffs. But a great defender and shown enough offensive flashes this year that I'm interested. I'm very interested. I think he's got a very, very high ceiling. He's contract extension eligible this offseason. I'm interested to see what he gets. Like, what do you guys think his contract's going to look like? $20 million per? Can they even offer him that much? Because I know there's like restrictions on what you can offer. Open market, I think he probably gets $20 million for sure. Joel Moran said he and Ant are on track to be Jason and Jalen. I can't get there yet. I can't get there yet with McDaniels. What up, Josh? I can't get there yet with McDaniels, to be honest with you. Offensively. It might get there, though. Defensively, he's legit. It is a little bit shocking he didn't make an all-defensive team. Dorian Finney-Smith is not ranked, unfortunately. Paolo comes in at 78. Star in the making. The creation for a player his age and his size. Definitely legit. Absolutely a star in the making. Should be higher. He's a rookie, man. He's still got some rookie stuff to work on. There's about to be a scorcher in here. I hope Cam's not watching this. Cam, are you in here? Oh, Franz is on the list. Don't worry. Don't worry. Franz is on here. Tyler Hero at 77. I still like his game. 3-level score. Hard to find in the NBA. Just sucks that he broke his hand and missed the entire playoffs pretty much. It crazy that the Heat still made it. A little bit of a Ewing theory there. Maybe they were just better without him, which is a little bit why I dropped him. But I still like Tyler Hero's game. You got Hero over Paolo? Yeah, man. Hero's been a 20-point per game guy the last 2 years on like good efficiency. Paolo will get there. Paolo's not top 50 right now, guys. He's just not. But Hero, yeah, Hero's a bucket. 3-level score. That's hard to find in the NBA. I think this is a pretty fair ranking for him right here. I think Hero's got some pretty nice drip. Not anything I could ever pull off. Just don't have the body type. You know, classic. Hero's only 23. That shit's crazy. 23? Why does it feel like he's been in the league for like 8 years? God, 2020 just like took 6 years off everyone's life, I feel like. Come on, Looney at 76. Shitted on Sabonis. Like, absolutely shitted on him. Elite rebounder. Good God. $18 rebounds. Listen to this shit, all right? The Kings series. 9 rebounds in game 1. 7 game 2. 20 in game 3. 14 in game 4. 22 in game 5. Including 7 offensive rebounds. 21 rebounds in game 7. $18 rebounds in game 6 against the Lakers. His playoff rebound average per 48 minutes. I might have Looney a little bit low. It was per 36 playoff rebound numbers. 18. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, Looney's a freak rebounder. Someone that scored 0 points in a game but could grab 12 plus rebounds would be a huge upgrade over Powell. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Mike Conley. I like Mike Conley a lot. One of my favorite players of all time. One of my favorite non-Maverick players of all time. Just like his point guard presence. Just like his presence on the floor. He is a grandfather. But, like, he was such a massive upgrade over D'Angelo Russell for what the Timberwolves had going on. They needed an adult point guard. And listen, a little high maybe, but I really do value the connective point guards, the floor generals, right? Put the ball in his hands. Put the ball in his hands. Good things are probably going to happen. Paul over Conley steal. That was a dilemma I was having. Keep in mind, around this tier, around this range, I would say like 65-ish to like 80, honestly, are all really close. Yeah, D'Lo did not make the fucking list. See ya. I am doing the whole 100. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it like adults. Let's talk about it like adults. Let's think about some of the stuff I really value. Wings, length, a little defense, some self-creation, some playmaking, scoring upside, catch and shoot upside, attack closeouts. I think right now, Jalen Williams slightly better than Paolo. Long term, would much rather have Paolo, if that makes sense. Right now, if I were a team and I'm trying to win, I think I would rather have Jalen. He's older. That's true. He is older. He was a 3-year college guy. But long term, I'd rather have Paolo. I'd much rather have Paolo. But I love Jalen Williams' game, man. Love his game. He was 21 when drafted. He just turned 22. But I absolutely love his game. Just it fits exactly what the Thunder have going on, man. These longer players, very smart decision makers, switchable defensive players. I think Jalen is a better fit on most teams, but I feel like Paolo's the better player. It's close. I mean, I have them like 3 spots away from each other or whatever. Again, long term would rather have Paolo. Right now, though, I think J-Dub just a little bit better as a player. Not really fair judging Paolo as a number 1 option and J-Will as a 3 or 4. That's a good point. That's a good point. Although I will say, I think J-Will is better suited right now as a player to just fit into a team, a good team that's trying to win and be the number 3 or 4 guy, more than Paolo, if that makes sense. Mavs need a J-Dub-esque pick? Yeah. Who's the biggest riser in this new ranking? Well, I have guys who like weren't on it because of injury who are up pretty high. J-Dub was 35% from 3 on the year. But was 42% after the All-Star break. 37% in February, 46 in March, 40 in April. Really came on strong at the end of the year. Love J-Dub. Ayton is here at 73. Still a good player. Like, I shit on him, I know, but he's still a good player. Just not going to reach where he's supposed to be at. Still a strong and solid player. Yeah, he does have a little bit of a loser stench to him. I'm not going to lie to you. Jock Landale's backup next year. I do wonder, you know, a change of scenery. Do we see something else from him? I don't know. You know, he's fucking 25. He's about to be 25. Bro, his effort in the playoffs was Randillion. Not Randillion. He's still a strong player. He does have loser stench though. Ugh. Indiana wouldn't be horrible. That is future Maverick Dallas DeAndre Ayton. It's very possible. Here's Chris Paul at 72. I did drop him a decent amount. He still is a good floor general. Like, for all of his flaws, he still is a good floor general. He was playing hurt at the end of the year. Fucking story of Chris Paul's life. No, D'Lo's not on the list. I don't like D'Lo, man. Still think Chris Paul's a good floor general. Just can't stay healthy anymore. Getting older. Can't score at the level he used to be able to. That little mid-range pull-up jumper that used to feel automatic. Not really automatic anymore. But I think still a solid player. You know. If you're still pro D'Lo, I question how much basketball you watch. It's crazy because D'Lo was like a huge net positive for the Lakers in the regular season, but yeah, I don't want him anywhere near my team. How many Mavs players on this list? Oh, only 2. Only 2. D'Lo is the worst watch of the NBA. He's like, yeah, I could see that. Because Jordan Poole is funny. I don't think it'd be funny if he was on my team, but Jordan Poole is a comedic watch. One more than last year? No, that's not true. Last year, especially after the fucking playoffs, going into the season, I had Dorian, I had Wood, I had Dinwiddie. Like, I was hyped. I thought about putting Timmy on. Percent chance Jaden Hardy's on this list next year? Low. But that's okay, though. If he could be in the top 130 range. 71, Wiggins. Weird year for him. I don't want to hold too much against Wiggins. Like, he was a dude who, like, people were like, hey, should Wiggins low-key be the Western Conference Finals MVP? last year and this year. He had some moments in the playoffs for sure, but it wasn't what it was last year, where he was their second best player for most of that championship run. But he had a weird year, man. He had a weird year where he missed a bunch of time. Nah, Frank Ntilikina just missed. Yeah, Wiggins has been in the NBA a long-ass time. 10 years, man. 10 years in the league. We already went over KCP. Yeah, he was on this list. He was 100. I think this is about right for Wiggins. Definitely can rise up. Nah, Facu dropped out. He was in it. Next up, it is CJ McCollum, who is kind of free-falling. I'm not going to lie. He's going to have to show me something next year. He's going to have to show me something next year, or it could be a very fast free fall for him. Yeah, he was dealing with some injuries. He was dealing with some injuries, and that, you know, the Pelicans, probably not very easy to be like the lead guy when everyone around you is fucking hurt and you're forced to be the lead guy, and that should not be your role. Does that make sense? Yes, that is what CJ was like. So he was in a rough situation, to be fair. But he needs to turn it around next year, especially looking at that contract, which is shocking. $35 million next year, 33 the year after, 30 the year after that. About to turn 32. And yes, his negotiations at the for the new CBA were not the best. Although I do wonder, like, do we think CJ McCollum is in there actually negotiating? Like, what do you guys think goes on in there? They're saying that CJ McCollum was just pissed off at Kevin Durant, and that's why he did all of this. That's what they're saying. CJ's a traitor to the average man. Man. He sided with the bourgeoisie. Do you remember Brunson for CJ trade ideas? Very vaguely. There was a lot of Brunson trade ideas for a while. Brunson for CJ. I'm trying to remember what were some of the other ones. They were kind of nasty in hindsight. 69, we have Boyan. Who, damn, I was looking at Boyan's numbers. I forgot how fucking good he was this year. Like, I forgot how good Boyan was. Did we ever think a tanking team would have to go out of their way to shut down Boyan because he was just playing too good? 21 points per game. The hairline piece, definitely a factor in this. We've gone over the bald aspect of things. 41% from three this year. On a bad team, you know, given a green light to do whatever he wants, to be fair. Not good defensively, but can get his own bucket. Elite catch and shoot guy. I mean, a great offensive player. No, Ivy did not make this list. I do like Ivy, though. Solid THA and 10th for Boyan trade. Yeah, that's disgusting. I would never want to do that. But at $20 million next year and 19 the year after, that's not a bad contract. He is 34, though. Like, that's decent value for a guy like this. He had a really good season. Cam Johnson, a big riser. A big riser. I really liked what I saw from Cam Johnson in Brooklyn. I thought he played really well in the playoffs. He's old. Like, Cam Johnson is 27. He was hurt. He was hurt to start the season. Then went to Brooklyn, played really well. 16 points per game for Brooklyn. 37% from three. Postseason, he shot 42% from deep. 18.5 points per game. And, like, some defensive upside. And he's fucking huge. Like, he's big. I'm saying 27 feels old for Cam Johnson because he's only been in the league for 4 years. And I think people still kind of lump him into being a younger guy when he's not. And he's a restricted free agent this year. I don't know. I would say like 15 million a year. Like 15 to 20 million a year. Does that sound about right? I think that's about what he's going to get. I think about 20 is probably what he's going to get. Unless a team wants to like poison pill the Nets and just throws him a fucking huge bag. A team with money where they're like, I don't care. Evan Fournier makes 18 mil. There's gonna be a like a market correction though with the new CBA. Like teams are gonna be like, well, Evan Fournier is making 18, so we'll give him 26. The Magic makes a lot of sense for him. I think the Nets will probably match anything. Yeah, 15 was way too low. 15 was way too low. It's definitely gonna be 20 plus. Cam Johnson though, big riser. Jared Allen, big faller. Big faller. That was a gross postseason showing for JA. And I want to say something about Jared Allen. I want to say something about Jared Allen. Because I've seen some of like the mock trades. I've seen some of the mock trades about Jared Allen, and I've seen Cavs fans be like, oh, well, we need to be getting X, Y, and Z because Jared Allen was an all-star. Listen, man. All-star centers, take a look at the history of the NBA, especially like the last 10 or 20 years. That's not that big of an accomplishment, okay? It's not that big of an accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment to be an all-star. Don't get me wrong. More than I've ever done in my fucking life. But I'm just saying, you got guys like Hassan Whiteside. DeAndre Jordan was a first-team All-NBA player at one point. Andre Drummond. Like, there's times where the center pool is pretty weak. And, you know, if you're 7 feet tall and can grab a rebound, you got a pretty solid chance of making the All-Star game. Like, I think Tim Hardaway for Jared Allen's trade up is a trade that could happen. I really do. The more I think about it, I'm like, it kind of makes some sense. Or some 3-team trade involving the Nets, where Dorian Finney-Smith gets rerouted to Cleveland. 10 goes to Brooklyn, I guess, and the Mavericks get Jared Allen in 20th or something. Timmy for Jared Allen, come on. Hey, that was something that was rumored. Like, I didn't even start that. That somebody said that there, I won't say who, but somebody said that there was some rumblings among Cleveland people that could be a trade. That Cleveland really liked Tim Hardaway Jr., and that could be something that happened. Not that there was, like, actually any real reports. But I'm just, I would not even bring that up because I didn't even think about that until somebody said there was some discussions about it. Timmy makes a lot of sense on that Cavs roster, by the way. Also, if you guys haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. It helps me out tremendously. 100 of you in here, 25 likes. I'm not good at math. That's only a third of you. All right, so let's get it together. Next up, Big Al. What Al Horford did to Joel Embiid puts him in the top 70 easily. I know offensively it was pretty brutal at times for him in the playoffs. Like, really brutal. But what he did to Joel Embiid defensively, again, it reminds you why the Sixers said, I'm signing that guy just so he doesn't guard Joel Embiid again. The timeout pose, yes, the timeout pose, he poked the bear there. His sister is annoying on Twitter. That is true. But still just a great fucking defender for his age. And the shooting stuff, even though, again, it was pretty horrible in the playoffs. But the shooting stuff is still at 29% from 3 in the playoffs. Yeah, Horford would be an interesting Jokic defender. Like, he could do the physical thing, quick. Just kind of like a more souped up Tristan Thompson, who actually gave Jokic a tiny bit of trouble. You know, but it's still Jokic. Like, he's going to get whatever he wants regardless. But I do agree, though, like, with what Mason said. Jokic with or Al on Jokic with Time Lord to help would be interesting. I still think the Nuggets were going to beat whoever they played, but the Celtics give them, I think, a little bit of a tougher series. But the Heat beat the Celtics, so you got to respect them. +4 this postseason when Al Horford was on the floor. Only +1 when he was off. A 111 defensive rating when he was on the floor. 119 when he was off. Very important player to the Celtics in their defense. 65. Derek White. Just, would you have Derek White ahead? Mason, would you have Derek White ahead of Marcus Smart or below him? I kind of thought Marcus Smart was pretty solid in the playoffs, actually. Derek White should be higher. The Celtics guards are always super fucking tough to figure out. 65 is pretty high, though, for a guy like Derek White. I got to say. Like, 65 is pretty high. Like, you're going to see guys in, like, when we get to, like, the 50 range. Like, we're talking, like, anybody from, like, 50 onwards is like, this guy can make an all-star game. Higher than Smart, not higher than 65. Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure Marcus Smart is next. Oh, wait, no. Scotty Barnes at 64. An interesting season for him. He played better towards the end of the season. I'm still very high on the future of Scotty Barnes, though. Let me tell you something. Still very, very high on the potential of Scotty Barnes. What makes no sense? Scotty Barnes being this low or this high? Are you guys saying this is too low for Scotty or too high? I think you guys need to realize that Scotty Barnes was like damn near asked to play point guard at times. Way too high personally, way too fucking low. This is why I love lists. Are they low effort content? Doing a top 100? Hell no, it's not low effort. Let me tell you that. But this is why I love lists. I feel like this is really fair for Scotty. Like, he wasn't great last year, but he's shown enough. I like him a lot. I think he's a good player still. Like, his passing stuff and playmaking stuff for his size is really, really good. Defense is still really solid. Ranked on upside down results. I mean, 15 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, that's solid. Pretty strong defense. I'm still stupidly high on Mobley. I can't quit him. I cannot quit Evan Mobley. I cannot quit him. I know he was a fucking disaster in the playoffs, but I cannot quit him. Him being good with the ball in his hands made OG jealous of his diminished role. That's true. All right, here's Marcus Smart, 63. Had like a pretty strong playoffs. Something like his defense is nowhere near what it used to be. Even as much as last year, like his defense is nowhere near where it used to be. But his points per game in the playoffs 11 points per game in the regular season, 15 in the postseason. Flopping, yes, he's a flopper. He's a little bit annoying to watch. But he had a really strong postseason. Definitely probably would be lower on him if Derek White did not save the day there at the end of Game 6, even though they went on to lose Game 7. But if our last taste of Marcus Smart was that horrible buzzer beater attempt, that would have probably knocked him down a few more spots. But this feels about right for Marcus Smart, to be honest with you. Wendell Carter Jr. Still think probably... I would say he might be the most underrated player in the NBA, but I think there's another Magic player that holds that distinction. But I absolutely love Wendell Carter Jr. I think he fits the modern NBA like a fucking glove. I don't think enough people realize how good he is. His contract is stupid. This is what I try to tell people who say we should trade for Wendell Carter. It's not happening. Listen to this contract. $13 million next year, $11 million this year, $10 million the year after that. 3 years. 3 years, like $34 million over the next 3. That is insane. He's getting 20 plus million on the open market right now, easily per year. Just absolutely fits the modern NBA like a glove. Like a glove. Meow. I don't know where my cat is. Saw him lurking around earlier. Good defender. Can stretch the floor. Can pass. Good rebounder. A really strong player. Yeah, the Vucevic trade is a horrific disaster. It's an absolute... It's like a Hindenburg level disaster. Better offensively, Wendell Carter Jr. or Jaren Jackson Jr.? I feel like Wendell is probably the better like team offensive player, but I think Jaren Jackson a little bit more like of a little more upside there. Rudy trade or Vooch trade? Well, the Vooch trade, like immediately they get Wendell Carter and Franz Wagner, and they're getting somebody in this year's draft. Oh, uh-oh. Hold on a second. We haven't really seen the full effects of the Rudy trade. Zion Williamson and his camp reportedly prefer a change of scenery, specifically in New York. I wish NBA Trade Report just regurgitates other people's reports, but I wish he would say where they got this from. This could come from like a Knicks guy. What was I literally just saying an hour ago, though? Like a little too much smoke around the Zion stuff. A little too much smoke. Randall back in New Orleans. I feel like Randall's one of those players where you kind of enjoy when he's on your team, but once he's off, you're like, okay, I'm done with that. I have no idea what Zion's market would be. Do you guys think Zion's getting like a 5 draft pick haul? I'm not so sure. Anyways, Wendell Carter, super underrated. Jeremy Grant, 61. Just, I mean... the type of wing you want in today's NBA. Defends, can play off ball, can play on ball. You know, just a strong player. Don't really have much to say about Jeremy Grant at this juncture. Like, there was times earlier in the season where it felt like Jeremy Grant was going to make an all-star game. Down can get 5, only takes 1 desperate team. That's true. Do you think players get really upset when, like, a team that they were previously on wins a ring, especially for Jeremy Grant, because Denver kind of changed his career to where he was the role guy on a good team. I know he chose to leave, but I don't think that there was like animosity there. He just wanted a bigger role. See, if the Knicks are going to go star hunting, which they are going to at some point, I don't know if I'm making my big move on Zion. He hated living in Denver. I do remember that being like a part of his free agency. But yeah, Aaron Gordon fits more what they needed. No, how much have I missed? You missed the top. You missed up to 61. We still got a long ways to go. Let's lock in. 60s Klay Thompson. He's dropping. He fucking sucked. I actually wish I dropped him a little bit more. Been a Klay Thompson hater. You guys know this. Regular season, he was starting to prove me wrong. He was starting to prove me wrong in the regular season. Was starting to play really well. And then Klay Thompson went and poopied in his britches in the postseason. So maybe I was right. Outside of the game where he shot 8 of 11 from 3, it was a pretty rough postseason for Klay. He was actually pretty good in the Kings series. Yeah, Klay did have a good run. Klay had a good run. Kind of changed. I wouldn't want to say changed the NBA because it's not like teams weren't wanting 3-and-D wings, but changed the way that teams were like, oh my God, we have to get players like Klay Thompson. Didn't change it the way that Steph changed it, but definitely teams were like, we have to get guys like this on our team. He's also just nowhere near good enough defensively anymore. Like, that was the big appeal of Klay Thompson, was that he was a really fucking good defender. And it's just not. He shot 50, 40, 90 in the regular season, damn near. He shot 43% from the field. That's not damn near. He did shoot 41% from 3, though. And 88% from the free throw line. I've seriously convinced myself Grady Dick can be Klay next to Luka. Maybe offensively. Don't know if he'll ever be that good defensively. Next up, we do have Kuzma. Kuzgod. What's there really to say about Kuzma? Just a strong wing. I am interested to see, does he go to a contending team and buy back into a similar, third, fourth, fifth option type of role, or is he wanting to be that guy moving forward? Yeah, he did have I don't know if I would say underrated, but a very strong season, man. 21 points per game. No, DiVincenzo did not make this list. I do like DiVincenzo, but he's not a top 100 guy. A strong season for him. If he's like one of my main guys, I don't feel good about my team at all. But if he's a third or fourth guy, I do feel pretty good. Super underrated passer. Yeah, solid playmaker. Like he would be a very good role player. But again, if he's my 1 or 2 guy, I'm not. Austin Reeves was on this list higher up. His clothing is the worst in America. Again, a solid drip guy. I've seen highlights of Grady dunking lobs. He might become a solid defender. Oh, his defense is better than people think. No clue what his next contract looks like. Like, are we approaching 30? Easily has the worst drip in the league. No, definitely not. He's not like top 10 in drip, but he's not the worst. Listen, I'm just going to be brutally honest with you guys, okay? Luka's not necessarily a fashionista. Okay. Oh, Shea has the most drip in the league. Shea has the most drip in the league by a comfortable margin. Shea was at the fucking Met Gala. Luka is a modest man, not a slut. Listen, if I were in the NBA, I'm dressing like a slut. Are you kidding me? I am dressing like a complete and total slut. Yeah, Luka looks like a normal straight man. No. Luka's dressed like a fucking European. Okay? I've said this before. If you just saw Luka walking down the street from behind and just saw his clothing outfits, you'd say, that guy's from Europe. That guy's from Europe, for sure. That guy's 100% from Europe. Just something about it. Porzingis does have some nice drip. Luka dresses like he's homeless in Europe. Like, if you see, like, somewhat slim-fitting jeans with rips in them, European. At this stage of the game, European. Almost 9 times out of 10. Kuzma's got some drip. How can someone is European from the clothing style? You just can. Favorite bar in Lubbock, and why is it Bar PM? God, definitely not Bar PM. I don't know. I haven't been out in Lubbock in like fucking 6 or 7 or 8 years. The Bar PM might be different now. Claxton at 58. Hardy's got some crazy drip for sure. Mavericks are a pretty well-dressed team. Top 100 list of bars in Lubbock would only be 3 bars deep. Well, there's not that many to choose from. Should get on 2K and do a GM mode with the Mavericks. That's what my next Bleacher Report stream is going to be, actually. I don't know how it's going to work. No, Shane Sharp is not on this list. Anyways, Claxton is here at 58. Super solid player. Needs a point guard badly. Just needs another point guard badly. But an elite shot blocker. Strong rebounder. Pretty solid modern defender, too. Was like a legit top 3 defensive player of the year candidate for most of the season. But needs an actual legit point guard in his life immediately. Freddie VanVleet at 57. I don't know what to do with Fred. I feel like he should maybe be a little bit lower than this. Oh my God, I forgot Fred had a 20 assist game earlier this year. Still averaged 19 points a game this season. Did not shoot well. Did not finish well. Just kind of a weird season for him. Interested to see what his payday looks like. Pretty low efficiency, honestly. Don't know if I would love him on my team. Just feels like he does a lot sometimes. But a solid playmaker. In his heyday, was a pretty strong defender too. Bro, Fred at the start of the season was a G Leaguer. It was a really bad. Yeah, he's always been a horrible finisher. That's why I like, people would compare Brunson to Fred, and I was like, no. Brunson's like an elite around the rim player. I wouldn't say he sucks. 57 might be a little bit too high, actually. He had a bad season. I mean, he was really good a couple seasons ago. This feels about right. Maybe he can be in the 60s. Here he is. Franz Wagner's 56, the highest rated player on the Magic. And honestly, God, maybe the most underrated player in the NBA. I don't think people realize how good Franz Wagner is. Like, I really don't think people realize just how fucking good this guy is at basketball. Please tell me I'm hallucinating when I saw Desmond Bane ranked higher than Kyrie. On my list? I actually thought about putting Lowry on here, but he's not. Oh, Ringer. We'll look at the Ringers list after this. Franz averaged 18.5 this season. 4 boards, 3.5 assists. Good defender. Could defend a bunch of different positions. Strong passer. Big. He's fucking good. I think absolute worst case for scenario for Franz is he's an uber elite role player. Like, I'm not comparing his play style to Aaron Gordon, but like that elite of a role guy, like Aaron Gordon was this year. Who's higher on this list? That's like his absolute floor, in my opinion. His ceiling is definitely an all-star level player. Low-key the best player of his draft class. Ooh. I think right now you'd have an argument. I still think Cade. I would take Cade #1 overall for sure in a redraft of that. Then probably Mobley, and then I would definitely take Franz third. Sneaky athleticism. I don't really know if I would say Franz is sneaky athletic. Like, he's fucking athletic, unless we're doing the white joke. Yeah, the Warriors really just had a horrible draft. They could have had Franz instead of Kuminga. And like Trey Murphy instead of Moody. That team would have been disgusting. We really lucked out. Kuminga is a bench player at best for most teams. Magic are in a weird spot. No, they're actually in a great spot. They're very positionless. They can really do whatever they want, and it makes sense. Why doesn't Cade get the injury tag? The shin stuff is a little bit scary to me, especially from when I was like reading up on it earlier in the season. Like, I think it has potential to get scary, but I feel like you have to. We'll wait a few more years. Michael Porter Jr. at 55. I honestly thought about putting Franz ahead of him because I'm just gonna be real. I think Franz is better than Michael Porter Jr. But again, the championship tax. Michael Porter Jr. is a massive human being that can shoot over anything. 41% from 3 this year. %35% in the playoffs. Had some moments defensively that was pretty nice, but then he was like really bad defensively against the Heat. So much so that he was like getting benched at times. It also doesn't help that he was missing shots. I'm not gonna lie. I want to swap these two. I want to swap these two. I think Franz is just better, straight up, than Michael Porter Jr. I don't mind having MPJ over Fred VanVleet. Again, the championship tax. The championship tax. But MPJ had a really strong season though. Franz just does more. Maxey, a big riser. A big riser. I was sleeping on Maxey a little bit, but I will say this. If you go back and watch the last Top 100 I did, whenever I talked about Maxey, I said, he's kind of in a weird spot, which he was. And then Doc said, all right, never mind, Maxey. You're playing a bunch. And he's really good. Just an absolute bucket. An absolute bucket getter. 60% true shooting in the regular season for Maxey. Damn. Walking bucket. 43% from deep. I like his game too because he can score off the dribble. He can play off ball. With Harden out of his way, does he ascend more? Yeah, but they still need a point guard. Like, I don't really think that's his thing. Yeah, Maxey was pretty much by himself in that series against the Celtics. Especially in that game 6. 26 points in game 6. Again, where the fuck was Embiid? Maxey has a pretty high ceiling. I think like his numbers could be really big. But another one of these guys where it's like, if he's your best player or your second best player, Maxey's what, like 6'3", 6'2"? Not very big. Maxey could be better than Booker? I don't know if I'd go there, man. A 113 offensive rating when Maxey was on the floor for the Sixers in the playoffs. 107 when he was off. But sign and trade Kyrie to Miami for hero and protected firsts. I mean, if you're going to lose Kyrie to Miami, that's a very good return for a sign and trade. What do you, Doomer? Do you think I've shown Bam yet? I don't think Harden got in Maxey's way. I think Harden is why Maxey had crazy shooting nights. Motherfuckers forget Harden led the league in assists. No, Harden was not the problem for Maxey. It was actually DeAnthony Melton. Like, early in the season, the Sixers wanted Melton's defense. That was the problem. It really had nothing to do with Harden. I guess it kind of did because you, like, okay, Harden and Maxey out there as your guards defensively. What does that look like? Max equals Lou Will. Lou Will was pretty big, though, wasn't he? Oh, Lou Will. Sorry, I'm thinking of somebody else. I think Maxey can be better than Lou Will. I mean, he's only 22. Dallas kid. I was thinking of Jamal Crawford when you said Lou Will for some reason. How tall was Jamal Crawford? 6'5"? Yeah. Maxey, a big riser. DeJounte stays around here. He stays exactly the same at 53. Just the absolute most polarizing player for me. I have no fucking idea what to make of DeJounte Murray at any given time. Like, seriously, I've got no... THA for DeAnthony Melton, even trade. That's interesting. There are times where I don't think he's a winning player whatsoever. In theory, he should be. 6'4" with a crazy wingspan. Should profile to guard 3 different positions. Like, that was like his selling point, was defense. Can create for himself, a good passer, like a decent off-ball player. Really should be a winning player. You have Murray lower than John Collins? You actually think I have John Collins in my top 53? John Collins did not make this fucking list. So they quit dancing around the real subject. Admit you hate Hawks players and be done with it. Oh, trust me, you guys aren't going to be saying that here in a bit. You guys are not going to be saying that. OG's coming up. I think he actually might be the next player. When I get on Twitter and people argue the best point guards, they don't list Luka. Am I missing something? Some people believe your position is what you guard on defense. There are people who believe that. That's not what I believe. That just sounds stupid to me. If you're the ball handler on offense, you're the point guard. That's your position. There are people who believe that. Anyways, I don't know if DeJounte's a winning player. And he's 26, about to be 27. He's about to get paid a lot of money. I just don't know. Don't know how much winning you're doing. All right, we really got to speed up some of this. Gobert at 52. So let's talk about this. I think Trey could be a winning player, actually, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Let's talk about Gobert. I mentioned this a few streams ago. I think I'm like circling back to being like, you know, Gobert's pretty fucking good. Pull up that Gobert vid again. Which one? The fadeaway jumper? Gobert's a great trade. I mean, any pick and roll big is a perfect fit next to Trae Young because he's one of the best pick and roll ball handlers in the history of the sport. I know that sounds crazy to say, but it's true. But Gobert's a solid player. Like it's going to be difficult for him because of how much they gave up for him and how much money he's making. He's still good, man. I just popped back in the stream. We're only at 52. You know me, baby. The top 100 streams are always the long ones. Gobert can definitely catch a lob. Now, the one where you said he was more important than D-Mitch. Oh. Hey, listen. Are we going to sit here and pretend like Donovan Mitchell hasn't been fucking ass cheeks in the playoffs the last 2 years? I watched Jalen Brunson put him in the torture chamber twice. Next up is OG. I mentioned him in my video yesterday. Elite defender. Absolute elite defender. Offensive game. Very much overhyped. Very much overhyped. But it is intriguing, though. The idea of what he can bring to the table defensively combined with his offense. But until I see it more consistently, he's just on the outside of a top 50. If Gobert had a fun accent like Mutombo, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, but unfortunately, he's French. Just don't know if OG's worth your entire trade haul. But if you're a team that has a lot of picks, OG is probably the best wing defender. At least he's top 3. There's a lot of really good defenders in the league. Like, I was just thinking about it. He's overrated at this point. OG, I think this is about right. 50. What if Thunder move picks for him? Thunder, Knicks, Grizzlies. Honestly, Grizzlies make the most sense. Trade for OG or draft Koulibaly. I just call him Bilal. Was it Koulibaly? I'm pretty right. I think I'm right about that. I'd rather draft. The Thunder have made a draft day trade like each of the last 5 years or something. So they're going to do something. They have so many picks. Do you guys know about the Thunder? We'll talk about this more at a later time because we need to get through this. But look up the Thunder Rockets draft stuff. Look up the picks the Thunder have from the Rockets. It's shocking. 50, we have Miles Turner. Miles Turner had a good season this year. A sneaky, very, very strong and solid season. Get him out of your trade package. They're not trading him. Why would they? Great stretch the floor. Rebounding is a little suspect for a center, but elite shot blocker. He's not getting traded. At least not to the Mavericks. I'm so skeptical over his health. Feels like this year was a fluke with no major injury. Yeah, Miles Turner has been an injury-prone guy. For sure. He's got like his offensive bag is deeper than I think people realize. Because I think most people just label him as a shooter, like a stretch the floor type of guy. His offensive bag is kind of deep. For a center, at least. He's one of the most underrated yet most talked about players in the league. That's actually pretty true, B-Dot. Talked about all the time. Every team wants to trade for him, so he's not that underrated, but he kind of is, though. Bites is Locked On Mavs father. No, I'm not. Love Locked On Mavs. I'm actually going on there later this week. Wait, how in the fuck did you drop it from last year? I only dropped in 2 spots from mid-season. So this was preseason right here. This was mid-season, which was in like March. And it wasn't dropping him for anything he did. It's just like moving playoff guys higher, pretty much. There's guys in the top 50 that weren't ranked at all because of injuries who are now ranked. So that's why. Someone please Photoshop Solly being Nick and Isaac's dad. Please don't do that. I like those guys a lot. I don't like when you guys come in here and say that. Him and Tyrese are a good duo. And if you pair like him next to Jarris Walker or Taylor Hendricks, holy shit. The Pacers are cooking. Pacers are cooking something up. All right, here we go. Top 50. 49 is Chris Middleton, who was not ranked previously because of injury. Chris Middleton low-key had a solid series against the Heat. Against the Heat. He was pretty much their best player. .24 points a game in that series. 60% true shooting. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to fucking this. They were a plus 3.5 in that series. Plus 3.5 when he was on the floor in that series. They were minus 26 when he was off. I've never even seen some shit like that. I've never seen some shit like that. Middleton needs to get healthy. Like I'm not gonna hold this season too much against him. He is getting older though. This guy's not him though. I think Middleton's still solid, man. 33 points in game 5. Like he was fucking their only guy on offense at times in that series. And just was coming off of injury pretty much the entire season. And didn't get fully ramped up until the playoffs. Yeah, Drew was an offensive disaster class. I love Drew so much, but man, it's getting really hard to ignore some of his postseason offensive stuff. People hate him because he's ugly. Damn. Chris doesn't have pretty privilege. You might be onto something there. Did he drop Luka is the real question. I actually moved Luka right before I started the draft. We'll have to see where. Or right before I started the stream, I moved him a spot. Brooke is on this list. Bradley Beal comes in at 48. Interesting timing. I still think Bradley Beal is a very solid player. Is he overpaid? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Big Panda. I've never heard him be called Big Panda. Real Deal Beal. Blue Magic. Oh, you guys want to hear Bradley Beal's nicknames? One of Bradley Beal's nicknames? Brad. Dr. Dre. Okay, never heard that. Yawn, Beals, whatever. Beal's pretty much a yawn now. Brad Beal. Bradley Beal's just still a solid bucket getter, man. And I think like he gets traded to a contending team. I think the opinion on him is going to change quite a bit. Gets traded to a team where they just need him to score and he can like lock in a little bit defensively. I think the opinion on him is going to shift a little tiny bit. But he can't stay healthy though. The best player you don't want on your team? That's actually pretty interesting to say. The only reason why I wouldn't want Bradley Beal on my team is his contract. He's not like a D'Lo player or Jordan Poole player where it's like I don't want that guy on my basketball team. If that makes sense. I would want Beal on my team. It's just that contract is scary. Jordan Poole and Moody for Beal. No trade clause is wild. I did not know that he had the only negotiated non-trade clause. That's actually kind of crazy. Just interesting how contracts work in like throughout different sports, you know. Yeah, the Heat make the most sense. Heat or Sixers? I kind of think Sixers, just because the pathway is there for that Tobias Harris trade. That song comes on as soon as we're talking about trading for a guy, and it's Bradley Beal. Beal to the Heat makes a lot of sense, but if the Sixers lose James Harden, like Embiid used to really want Bradley Beal. Like Embiid made a big push for Bradley Beal. Also, Tatum is like best friends with him. Something to think about. Next up, we have Brook Lopez. Just anytime I want to rank Brook Lopez lower, because it feels like he shouldn't be this high, but anytime I want to do that, I just can't. Yeah, he signed that contract last free agency, I'm pretty sure. Anytime I want to move Brook Lopez lower, I just cannot bring myself to do it. He scored 19 points a game in that series against the Heat. On 41% from three. Just one of the strangest career arcs in the history of the league. Went from a post-dominant player to a stretch-the-floor guy and an elite rim protector. How can you not love the guy? This feels about right for him. Again, I wanted to put him lower. I don't know why. I guess I'm a Brook Lopez hater. Never really thought about it like that. Here's Cat. Does this feel low? I don't really give a shit. Bubba! Slightly delusional club member for 2 months. Been a fun 2 months. Looking forward to the next. Me too, Bubba. Happy to have you here. Constant postseason disaster. Karl Anthony Towns. Don't know how you win with him on your roster. I mentioned this in my video yesterday. Don't know what to say, really. I had him at 16th heading into the season. Jesus. I mean, he had an unbelievable regular season last year. Cat way too high after this year. Yeah, I had him at 16th. I don't know what the hell got into me. No, this feels low actually for Cat. The Ringer probably thinks Cat is a Gen Z plus DeAndre Ayton. Gen Z DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, I need to go. I might need to go back and watch what I was cooking when I had him 16th. What the fuck was I cooking? I was whipping up some raw hot dogs. 45 LaMelo Ball. Just an unlucky ass season for LaMelo. An incredibly unlucky season. Only played 36 games. I actually really like LaMelo Ball. I think he's slept on, which is kind of crazy to say because he's one of the most popular players in the NBA. But I'm just saying from a skill point, I think he's a little bit slept on. Just an unbelievable offensive talent. But just was hurt. Hurt for most of the season, which sucks. So hopefully he's healthy next year. I'm really excited to watch his career unfold. I'm really excited to watch it. Like, also, what is if I like the Hornets would be out of their mind to not draft Scoot Henderson. I would love to watch LaMelo play off ball. I think he'd be really good. Not saying he's as good, but he's in that Shea area where he's hurt or shut down most of the season, but he's sneaky good. I think, like, Shea peaked as like a top 10 player this year. I think LaMelo could maybe get to that someday. Next up is DeMar. I mean, what's there to say about DeMar at this point? That hasn't been said a million, trillion, billion times. LaMelo literally dates my friends from high school's sister. That's pretty sick. Elite scorer, mid-range god. According to the Chicago Bulls, him and Kevin Durant, two of the best scorers of all time. Postseason disappearer. Defensive, not good. Hate DeMar's game. DeMar's game has to be the most shocking thing to me. His game should translate to the postseason perfectly, but it just doesn't. It makes no sense to me at all. It's one of the biggest mysteries. He doesn't have that postseason dog. I guess you're right. It must be a mental roadblock. There must be something there. But I do like DeMar's game. Wait, what were we saying earlier? The best player you don't want on your team? DeMar might actually be that guy. Because take away Beal's contract, I would want him on my team. DeMar, though, I don't really want like a ball in his hands mid-range scorer. Next up, Brandon Ingram. Just can't stay on the floor. These Pelicans guys, man, just can't stay on the floor. But really good when he plays. He is a stud. Would be higher if he could stay on the court. But he just can't do it. Bootleg version of 34-year-old KD. I'm way higher on BI. See, he's definitely higher than 43, but he cannot stay healthy. But his offensive game is absolutely elite. No questioning that. I'm ready to see this Pelicans team be good. Like, BI had a good series against the Suns. Like, I'm ready to see them. I'm ready to see all of them. Very deep bag. And with his size and stuff, skinny, but his size and stuff, like, he should be like a passable defender when he locks in. Desmond Bane at 42. I wonder if this is around the ceiling for Desmond Bane. Just like a top 40 player. Nothing wrong with that at all. Like, is there a next step? Elite shooter. Only shot 32% from 3 against the Lakers, but I'll give him a tiny bit of a pass because that series was just really weird with Jaw getting hurt and stuff. I think this is his ceiling. Love the game, though. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a top 40 player. Yeah, is for sure better than Bane, even with injuries. No, Brandon Ingram's definitely better than Desmond Bane. But Brandon Ingram just can't stay on the fucking court. And at a certain point, you have to stay on the court. Is Desmond Bane really better than Cat? Well, let me say this. If I'm trying to win a championship right now and I already have a go-to guy on offense, I would rather have Desmond Bane. Like, I would rather have Desmond Bane as a complementary piece than Cat. Baby Arm Bane over LaMelo. I mean, LaMelo only played 30 games this year. Like, that's really the unfortunate reality of it. He only played 30 games. Just tough when a guy, like, played in a postseason series. Where do I have Julius Randle? All right, here we go. I was about to say, please tell me I don't have him in the top 40. I struggle with Julius Randle. Postseason, absolute disaster class. This guy cannot play in the playoffs. It's horrible. But he was really good in the regular season. So, I don't want to drop him into, like, the 60s. Way too high? Quitter, coward, traitor. See, I was thinking 78th because I was so disgusted with his performance. Then I raised him up to 23rd because I thought, damn, he had a really good regular season, actually. Like, really good. He made All-NBA. But damn, he's so bad in the playoffs, man. It's like, it's reaching a point where I actually feel bad for him. It's like it's actually reaching a point where I feel bad for how bad Julius Randle is in the playoffs. They were still better when he was on the floor, though, to be fair. Yeah, no, he's historically bad in the playoffs. Like, the shooting numbers are worse than guys from, like, the fucking 40s. Where they were just chunking up God knows what at the rim. Probably weren't even playing with the basketball yet. Like, they were probably playing with a watermelon or something. Oh my God. We actually have a Christian Wood rumor. The Heat are expected to show interest in free agent big Christian Wood. Nice. Is Randall a better fit next to Gobert than Cat? When Randall locks in, it's not too shabby defensively. Back when guys were playing with human heads? Yeah. Maybe I drop Randall a little bit. Maybe I drop Randall kind of a lot. I was basing this off of where I had him originally. Maybe that's not fair. Like, I would definitely rather have Brandon Ingram. I'd rather have LaMelo. I'd rather have DeMar. Maybe I put him right around the other playoff choker. I do remember when Mavs fans wanted him badly. Why do I have 103 pages? Did I rank more than 100 players? Zach LaVine. I'm still a believer. I'm still a believer. I'm still a believer. Offensive game is just too smooth and nice. Very underrated now. Kind of underrated. He like hit a stride at one point this season. I'm looking at his game logs because I remember he had a stretch where it was just crazy. 41, 27, 42, 29, 36, 35, 39. He had like a stretch right after the All-Star break where he was just going insane. LaVine is better than Brown? See, I don't agree with that, but can play off ball, can play on ball. I just like players like that. I still think Zach LaVine's a really, really talented player who still has like who can still show some stuff. I mean, he's 28, injury prone. But I mean, 77 games this year, 67 games the year before, 58 in that short season a few years ago, 60 in that short season. Like, it hasn't been that bad, actually. $40 million next season, 43, 45, 48 player option at 26, 27. It's a big contract. Not the best defender either, but I think like it might not be as terrible as people say. Would you rather have the Mavs trade for Cat or have no AC for an entire month of August? I don't think you would survive that, actually, in Dallas. Like, people actually die like that. Bro's beautiful. Zach LaVine? Never really looked at him like that, but yeah, he's a good-looking dude. You didn't answer the question. So, given what I said that you would probably die with no AC in the month of August in Dallas, or would I rather have Cat? Yeah, give me the no AC. All right, here we go. Top 40, 39. Listen, I don't give a fuck. I'm planting my flag on this hill, man. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care at all. The Cavs' defense against the Knicks was 20 points better per 100 possessions when he was on the floor. Yeah, was he horrible offensively? Oh, yeah, he was a trash can. Do I now start to question if the offense is ever going to get there? Oh, yeah, I question it. But he still has playmaking chops. An otherworldly defender. Yeah, I'll die on this hill. I don't care. Damn, he averaged 16 points a game in the regular season. His point per game total dropped by nearly half. That's not what you want to see. I don't think he's ever going to be Tim Duncan or KG. That stuff does not make any sense to me. I don't like those comparisons. But he is an absolute defensive game changer, though. Completely changes your defense. Completely changes the outlook of your defense. And he has passing chops, which I like a lot. But yeah, the Tim Duncan and the KG stuff is just not fair to him. Like, it's just, you're just setting him up. And I don't like when that happens. Like, you're setting him up to get shit on when you're doing that. People were very thirsty for the year 2 job. Look, we could use him. Every team in the league would love to have Evan Mobley. Every team in the NBA would love to have him. I thought you guys would have a little bit more pushback against this, to be honest with you. All right, next up, it's Aaron Gordon. Is this the championship tax? Maybe a little bit. But damn. Aaron Gordon was just perfect. I mean, could you dream of a better scenario for Aaron Gordon than Denver? I don't think so. No, there's no way this is too low. Enough for Aaron Gordon being above 40 or 50. Absolute elite defender. Elite role player. Perfect team player. You're taking Aaron Gordon over DeMar Cat? Yeah, actually. Honest to God, yeah. Yeah. Actually, yes. If I'm the Mavericks and and I have the option of just getting one of those 3 players, I'm taking Aaron Gordon. And I'm being dead serious. Can you be a 4th option to be that high? When you're uber elite role player that just helped your team win an NBA championship, yeah, I think so. And remember, there's the NBA tax here. There's the NBA championship tax. You got to factor that into the equation. He's not a better player than Ingram. I'm actually very low on Ingram. I'm not low on Ingram, but I do have him too low here just because of injury. I should actually move him up. So let's just pretend I have Brandon Ingram higher, okay? I mean, he defended KD about as well as you possibly could. Energy and vibes guy, yeah, I would rather have Aaron Gordon than DeMar or Cat if I'm trying to win a championship, and I already have go-to guys. Get me an elite off-ball offensive player, a cutter, an elite defender, uber athlete, huge. He's listed as 6'8", but I swear to God, he's bigger than that. But 235 pounds. I mean, the guy's a fucking tank. Nah, Sean Marion should be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, sneaky good passer, a connective passer. That's something that I've talked about a lot lately, but it's because I've heard somebody talk about it in a video, and I'm like, holy shit, that actually is such an important skill. A connected pass. Like, I'm thinking about all the Mavericks games where, like, Dodo would get the ball and have no idea what to do with it. Reggie would get the ball and have no idea what to do with it. Maxey would get the ball and have no idea what to do with it. You need like actual guys who can pass, even if it's at a rudimentary level. That was a great trade for Denver, for sure. Jason Tamph. It might have been. That sounds like something he would say. Jarris on the Mavs equals Gordon on the Nuggets. Yeah, I could see that. He did have that missed dunk, though, actually, in Game 5. 37 is Pascal. Still solid. Is he worth, like, a stupid haul, trade-wise? I don't think so. Do I feel super comfortable if he's my number 2? I would rather him be my number 3. Personally. But he is good. Worth Josh and 10. Oh, yeah, easily. But I'm talking like 3rd overall pick plus some from Portland. You think he's worth that? Spicy P, an elite nickname too, by the way. A tad overrated by the NBA Twitter community. See, I have no clue like who's overrated or who's underrated on NBA Twitter because everybody simultaneously gets shit on and loved at the same time. Does that make sense? Siakam's 100% better than Brown. That's a toughie. Mason, would you trade Jaylen Brown straight up for Siakam? I'm pretty sure I have Jaylen Brown coming up. So it's not like I have them that. It's not like I have them that separated. Siakam seems like an OKC player through and through. Booker's better. Okay, let's wait until we get to there because the top 10 is going to be juicy. I'll tell you that much. All right, here we go. Next up, 36. It's the bonus. He drops quite a bit. I wanted to drop him lower. I am a Sabonis hater through and through. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm a Sabonis hater. I thought about dropping him a little bit lower, but he did have a very good regular season. Great stream so far. Yeah, like I like doing lists. Sabonis over Fox or Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Sabonis is not over Fox. Oh, Sabonis and Fox or Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Oh, sorry, I completely misread your comment. Sabonis and Fox or Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Well, I think I'd rather have Fox and Sabonis. Not a good playoff guy, but listen. He did have a broken thumb. Like, he did have a broken thumb. So, as much as I do want to be like, see, I told you guys, because I did all season long. I was like, yeah, Sabonis is not going to be that guy in the fucking playoffs. And he wasn't. He was bad. Why do you have a hate boner? Bad defense? Just offensively, that like dribble handoff at the elbow, everything runs through that. When defenses start to clamp up on that and they figure out exactly what your weakness is, like they did, like the Warriors did, and they said, okay, Sabonis, shoot that. Like we're gonna guard the guy coming off the handoffs. We're gonna get over on these screens. Shoot that. Shoot that shot. Shoot that elbow jumper. And if he can't make them, it became very hard for the Kings. But I will say this though, a lot of the Kings shooters did not shoot well, and I think Sabonis' numbers probably look better if like Kevin Huerter shoots better, or Keegan Murray starts the series better, or Harrison Barnes shoots better. But yeah, also I don't think he's a good defender at all. I just don't. It's hard for me to imagine him being a legit playoff guy. Yeah, Huerter fucking sucked. Huerter went from like in the 70s in my rankings to out entirely after that series. That was really bad. Which is because he had some moments for the Hawks in the playoffs. But I guess that's just how shooters go, man. They're just gonna have times where they're not making shots. He did get treated like Russ. 35 is Zion. Probably the most impossible player to rank. Like top 10 player when he's around top 10 when he's on the floor. But is literally never on the floor. What is it now? Like he's only played in the quarter of games. He's only played in a quarter of games. Yeah, Herter carried the Hawks against the Sixers in that game 7. White shooters fall off harder than any archetype in sports. That's not true. Duncan Robinson fell on. Like Duncan Robinson had a terrible regular season and just came to life in the playoffs. Peja, 2011, Peja. I had Zion ranked over Harden. Zion, if he fucking played, would be top 10, I think. Like I was looking at the way the top 10 was. If Zion's healthy, he's top 10. He doesn't play. I just can't, in good faith, rank him higher than this. Over guys that are for sure not as good as Zion, but play. Like 25% of your games is nuts. Grady Dick will fall on the playoffs next year for the Mavericks, baby. If Zion is not fucking porn stars, he's a top 15 player. Listen, Zion fucking porn stars is added points in my opinion. Zion running around fucking porn stars, more points in his direction for me. He can't play. He's not on the court. I feel like this is actually, I honestly shouldn't even rank him. Like now that I'm thinking about it, if you were to say, hey, I don't even have Zion ranked just because like he doesn't play at all, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. 34, KP, a very, very good season. Like, seriously. Did I shit on the guy relentlessly when he was in Dallas? Yes. But did he have a great season? He really did. He was healthy, played really well. Just really nothing else to say. I mean, it's kind of funny. If you look at his numbers, they were pretty similar to what he was doing in Dallas. But it's just, he played. I don't know if Aaron Gordon was better, to be honest with you. Luka Brunson, KP could have worked. I'm not backing off that, man. See, like, KP had to go, though. The Brunson one, you fucked up. KP just had to go. It was time. It wasn't going to get there. But I mean, again, okay, let's look at his numbers. 23 points per game for the Wizards. 15 shots. You look at 2020-2021 for the Mavericks. He averaged more shots per game, more threes per game, 20 points per game. Like, his numbers are pretty similar. But he just was on the floor. I mean, KP in the bubble was like, oh my God, this duo is winning a championship. Like, he had higher usage rate numbers in Dallas. He just was on the floor. That was literally it. That was the problem. He was either missing time or, like, ramping up from an injury. It was never, like, very rarely was it a fully healthy KP was on full display. It was he was injured, or he was dealing with an injury, or he's just getting his legs under him from his last injury. AG is better than KP. I mean, I only have them, what, 3 spots away from each other? Next up is Haliburton. He drops a little bit just because I think putting him in the top 25 was a little aggressive, but I still really like Tyrese Haliburton. Elite playmaker, great scorer, great offensive player. I mean, what else is there really to say outside of that? 10.5 assists per game this year. 20 points. 40% from 3. Top 10 point guard. There's a lot of point guards ahead of this. I would say so, but no Houston Rockets on this list. Yeah, they're not on this list. Şengün was on my last one. Rockets fans way overhype him. Şengün's on my last one. Jalen Green will be there at some point. I want to put Jalen Green on my my preseason one. I'm still furious that the Heat's bullshit defense made Jokic not average a triple-double. Isn't that insane? We're talking about a guy not averaging a triple-double in the finals. Like it's a shock. Jabari Smith definitely could be there too. I like Jabari Smith. I already don't agree with my own Drew Holiday ranking. I'm telling you that right now. I'm just thinking about it. Draymond at 32. I mean, it's Draymond, man. Playoffs come around. I want this guy on my team. Was he unhinged all season long? Yes, he was very unhinged. He was very unhinged. He had a 20-point game in this postseason, by the way. I feel like this is just about right for Draymond. Nobody does what he does in the league. Still one of the absolute best defenders in basketball. And is in a lot of ways like the engine of their offense, even though it's obviously Steph, but nobody does what he does. Did he make a all-defensive team this year? He did. Second team. Put a lot of guys where Dre is and the Warriors are a lot better. I very much disagree with that. Best at assaulting. Hey, maybe he needed to get punched in the face. Somebody needed to say it. I very much disagree that put anybody in Draymond's spot. They would have to absolutely change the way they play. Like, they would have to completely and totally change the way that they play if they replace him with somebody else. Mikal at 31. This feels about right, and this to me feels like his ceiling right here. Like borderline defensive player of the year defense. A developing bag offensively, but this feels about right. Like top 30, it could peak around top 25, you know, like all-star player. Like anybody in this range could make an all-star game. Please tell me I have Drew next. Oh, God. There's actually a chance I forgot about Drew and he's not on here. There's actually a real chance I just forgot about Drew Holiday. I'm not lying. He might not be on here, guys. Everyone calm down. Anyways, Mikal Bridges developing. I don't know what like he's about to turn 27. Like I don't really know what his absolute peak is. It's probably just about right here. No, he's definitely not a number one option. And after that insane, wasn't it like an absurd first half in game 1 against the Sixers? He really kind of fell off after that. Jaren Jackson at 30, defensive player of the year. Absurd defensive season. I don't know what his ceiling is offensively. Like, I don't know. I still feel like the idea of him being a great three-point shooter is more of an idea than anything else. I had to have forgotten Drew. I had to have forgotten him. 3 blocks per game is crazy. Especially for a guy who only 28 minutes and in foul trouble a decent amount. 3 blocks per game. DG the PG. I'm not ready to give up some stock yet. Was it a disappointing postseason? Sure. Do I blame you? No. I'll blame Donovan Mitchell, who's had 2 bad postseasons in a row. That's where I go. I blame Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland's a great player, an amazing point guard. I love him. Best player in the 2019 draft? Well, Zion barely plays. Ja Morant. Outside of that, though, yeah. Yeah, pretty comfortably, right? Who else was in this draft? Oh, yeah, easily. Ja's definitely on here. What's the difference between Simons and Garland? Garland is a much better playmaker. Much better. And a more reliable shot creator. So I feel like Simons has the better microwave shooting thing where he gets hot and he's making threes from literally everywhere on the floor. I mean, but Garland's like a walking paint touch damn near. Yeah, but the whole back a 6'1" backcourt and a 6'2" backcourt. Mark, please tell me I forgot Drew. Markkanen at 28. It's just actually crazy how good of a season Markkanen had. Like it actually does not make sense how good he was this year. His numbers are fucking nuts. 25.5 a game, 50% from the field, 39 from deep, 87 from the free throw line. A very good athlete. 8 rebounds. Could actually play the 3 and the 4 like a good defender. It's actually crazy how good he is. Yeah, one of the absolute most efficient players in the game. 64% true shooting, which, because if you watch him play, he's not taking easy shots. Like, it's not like he's just shooting wide open threes and catching lobs. Like, he's got a bag. He's taking some tough shots and some tough threes. After his military duties, he's going to be a tough shooter. Yeah, 64% true shooting on 17 shots a game is pretty crazy for especially for a non-rim running center. I mean, one of the biggest breakouts, most improved player of the year, definitely deserved it. Him and Brunson were close, but I feel like Brunson had already kind of shown us way more than Markkanen. No way anybody expected this from Markkanen. Yeah, good defense with Kessler. And they could get a guy like Hendricks or Walker in the draft and slide Markkanen to the 3, and it would make sense. I've always liked Lowry. I was hoping the Mavs got him when there was Chicago rumors. Yeah. Yeah, that was Lowry's reward for sure. Oh! Drew needs to be lower than this. Drew needs to be lower than this. I fucked up. All right, let's pretend Drew is maybe below Tyrese. Maybe below Tyrese. Listen, Drew Holiday is one of my absolute favorite players in the league. His defense is incredible. He had a very great season. A great season. Like, you could have made an argument for an All-NBA team. I think I said I would have voted for him as an All-NBA guy. He was really good. At some point, Drew, we got to get better in the playoffs, man. efficiency-wise at some point. Actually, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm keeping him here. I'm thinking about what Drew brings to the table right now. I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him right here. Here. You want a stat? Oh, he was so trash. You want a stat? The Bucks were positive when he was on the floor. Plus 0.12. Minus 25 when he was off that Heat series. Minus 25. Defensive rating 117 when he was on the floor. 130 when off. The best guard defender in the NBA. And yeah, at some point, Drew, the playoff efficiency is going to have to get better. His postseason career in Milwaukee, the year they won the ring, 48% true shooting. Last year, 46. This year, 49. That's horrible. Like, listen, that's actually really terrible. But he's asked to guard the best player on the floor every night. And yeah, Jimmy Butler did him disgusting, but Jimmy Butler was possessed by God. Okay? Like, literally, Jimmy Butler exerted everything he had in that series and fell off after, if we're just being honest. Drew Holiday stays. Yeah. Drew Holiday stays. Jimmy Butler was doing some insane shit, though, to be fair. To be absolutely fair to Drew Holiday, Jimmy was doing some crazy stuff. And yes, it was a little embarrassing. But I'm riding with him. Next up, Paul George, hurt in the playoffs. Still like Paul George's game. This kind of feels where he's at now, though. From like a teetering around top 15 player to, around 25 or so. He was good when he played this season. But he's just not healthy anymore. Plays more than Zion. But, I mean, that's the lowest bar you could possibly set. PG can be on the move. I just don't know if the Clippers are going to... I don't know if the Clippers would commit to that. Because if you're trading Paul George, what are you getting in return that's going to help you win right now? I don't know. And they don't have any other picks, so it's not like they can like tear it down and rebuild. I still like Paul George a lot. Yeah, he can't stay healthy. Would have loved to have seen him play in that series against the Suns. PG Kawhi experiment abject failure. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely was, man. Still to this day, believe if Kawhi does not tear his ACL in 2021, they win the ring that year. And they choked in the bubble, which was the only time they were healthy in a postseason run, which is sad. But still a good player. Not as good as he used to be. Just turned 33, but... 25 is James Harden. A big fall. A big fall. But you know what? How many times are we going to do it? How many times are we going to do it? That SGA trade was horrendous in hindsight. Cam, are you just joining us? I had Wendell very high, and I had Franz very high. But I also had Jalen Williams higher than Paolo. Would love to hear your thoughts. Led the league in assists per game this year. Still really strong. Like, just still a really good player. Solid. Nothing wrong with being top 25. But at some point, man, you just got to play well in the playoffs. For more than 2 games. For more than 2 games. Yes, he had a great game 1 against Boston. That was magical. Yeah, he was insane in game 4 against Boston. That was magical. But at some point, man... See, if I need like a lead guard, I would love to have James Harden. Like, he makes a lot of sense. He makes a lot of sense for the Rockets, actually. An older guy. That's true. He did win more games for his team by himself than Embiid. You're actually not wrong there. But Harden does drop. The 2 magical games save him from dropping even further, actually. Here he is, JB. Jalen Brunson, top 24. This feels about right. I think a top 5 playoff performer this postseason. I'd have to really sit down and think about it. Too low? You have Brunson higher than 24, man. 24's high. "28 points per game in the playoffs, 47, 32, 91, 58% true shooting. The Knicks were a plus 4.7 when he was on the floor, a minus 16 when he was off, a 115 offensive rating when he was on the court, 80 off, 80. The guy in front of him, I could easily flop. I could easily switch. Yeah, Brunson did carry the Knicks. JB Hader? I thought this was a good placing for JB, actually. His 3-point celebration emote is real questionable. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It looks cool. Caleb Martin, the cover are probably the best emote we saw in the postseason. That was just fucking cold-blooded. And honestly, that alone probably put him in the top 100. Caleb Martin doing that. There is one sticking point with Brunson, though. His defense is still bad. Okay? Like, listen. That's just the reality of the situation. It wasn't very good in the playoffs either. But yes, he's amazing. He's incredible. I really thought you guys... Yeah, I thought you guys would be cool with this. I'm surprised you guys think that he should be way higher, honestly. But okay. I could definitely see it. That Caleb emote was overshadowed by Jimmy's out-of-body experience? Yeah, it was. Let me see if I can pull that up. That's what I knew. That's what I knew we were about to witness something magical from Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin... 3-point celebration. Oh, that is a disgusting celly. That's a disgusting celebration right there. That's just cold-blooded. Right in Giannis. Oh, wait, I forgot. I actually forgot this was directly in Giannis's eyeball. I forgot that was in Giannis's eyeball. What a magical playoff. This postseason was really fun. Yeah, I'd rather have Brunson than Brown. Yeah, I think Brunson's a little bit higher than Jaylen Brown. Yeah, I think JB's better than JB. Let me go ahead and just swap that now. Let me go ahead and just swap that now. Move Brunson up to 23. Move Jaylen Brown down to 24. Bam at 22. I'm not budging on this one. I'm not budging on this one right here. I'm not budging on Bam being better. A defensive force. And was actually pretty damn good in that Heat series. Or in the Nuggets series. Like, he was their best player in the finals pretty comfortably. Bam could be higher. No, I think 22 is about right. Inconsistent, sure. The defense is always good. Yeah, Bam wasn't great against the Celtics, but he was their 1,000% their best player in the finals. Like, I would say pretty comfortably too. And he was like really good. Hopefully this is like the confidence boost Bam needs to like just be aggressive on offense all the time. That's what it feels like his big problem is. Jamal at 21. Championship tax. He was really good. A very slept on aspect of Jamal Murray's game, by the way, is defensively, he's pretty fucking good. I don't think I'm budging on that one, to be honest with you. Championship tax. He just won a ring. He just won a ring in a playoff run, averaging 26 a game. 47, 39, 92. 58% true shooting. Team was 11 points better when he was on the floor. Jamal's top 20. I mean, he's 21. All right, I think I... Oh. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I'm not budging on this one either. I'm not budging on this one. Higher than 20? Dude. Dude, 20 is high. Gen Z DUA. I'm just going to start calling everyone a Gen Z player. Anthony Edwards is really that guy. He averaged 31.5 against the Nuggets on 60% true shooting. Listen to this. Listen to this. Their offensive rating when he was on the floor, 118. That's solid. Off the floor, 75. And a two-way player. Anthony Edwards is about... Ooh! It's coming for Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is about to come. All right, sorry, that one was egregious. That one was egregious. Sorry. There was no reason for that. There was no reason for that. Wait a second. Hold on. This one is a typo. Hold on a second. I have a typo somewhere. All right. This was a mistake. This one was a mistake. This was a mistake. Slide Fox to 23. Move up Brunson a spot to 22. Move up Bam a spot to 21. Move up Jamal to 20. And now Ant is a top 20 player. The Donovan Mitchell defense. Very, very good regular season. Very, very good regular season. Sure, disappointing postseason. But do I really think Donovan Mitchell is worse than like Jamal Murray. I don't. I don't. I think this is good for him. I don't think Brunson and Murray are better than Donovan Mitchell. I just don't. I can't get there. He did drop 71. Like, I just can't go lower than this, man. No, he was a second team guy this year. To the chagrin of many. I think this is the absolute peak for Jamal. I think Brunson could actually sneak in higher. Yeah, Shea and Luka got first team. Ant could definitely reach top 10 heights. This is about the peak for Donovan Mitchell, I think. Probably make like a second team all NBA when guys are injured. Third team maybe. All-star guy. This is about the peak for him. Wait. Hold on. Now my numbers are fucked up. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And I'm done apologizing for it too. I'm done apologizing for it. I have 223s. Hold on. This is important. We need to figure this out. We need to iron this out. Okay, so Jaylen Brown's just supposed to be 24. There's not 223. Let's talk about it and discuss it. Trae Young has been absolutely elite offensively for 2 years now. Actually, his whole career. But really struggled early in the season offensively. Figured it out towards the end. And I was ready to go lower on him. But he did play pretty well against the Celtics. $32, $35, $38, $30. 15 assists, 13 assists, 10 assists. Elite pick and roll. Offensive threat. Elite offensive engine. Great playmaker. Great scorer. Elite floater. Great at getting to the free throw line. Had a terrible postseason series against the Heat, but really did not play poorly against the Celtics. That series went to 6. And he did have a game winner. Ant-Man does have a higher ceiling. Ant-Man can be top 10. This is around the ceiling for Trae, I think. Trae's not one of the worst shot creators. I'll die on this hill. I don't care. I had him as a top 10 player entering the season. Oh! Trade 17. 16. Yeah. What's wrong with it? Huh? What's wrong with it? 27 points per game this year. On 50% from the field, 37 from deep, 90 from the free throw line. What's wrong with it? Nothing? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. This is about right for Ja. Before you guys freak out and overreact, this is where Ja belongs. Okay? Yeah, I know you guys are going to freak out. This is where Ja belongs. Top 15. Random, but Mike Greenberg had the Kings ranked as third on the next NBA champ list. Yeah, I quote tweeted that. I said, "Are they trading Sabonis?" Like, did I miss that? Did I miss that report? Trey over Ja, but that's just me. Oh, Alfred, I like that. I could get there. I could get there. Think of the children. Second Amendment Patriot. That is fucking crazy. That is honestly insane. Second Amendment Patriot is crazy. Johnny, all right, not even top 35. All right, get serious. Murray is in a head case. The other point guards are who you have ranked above him. I like a little crazy. I like a little crazy. Also, Jamal Murray leaked porn on his Instagram. So there you go. Ja just got hurt against the Lakers. He fucked his wrist up, and he still played pretty decently. But, like, really messed his wrist up. Even then, he had a 45-point game in his return. Ja just has some insane games. Like, when Ja gets going, it's pretty much absolutely nothing you could do to stop him at all. No Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. Yeah, he was kind of a Steven Adams merchant. Those numbers are very interesting. Trey does have insane games too. But Ja, like, will have these games where they're, like, his finishing at the rim is so elite. It does not matter what you do. I think this is right for him. And I do wonder, is this the ceiling for Ja? Like, is this just who he is? A top 15 guy? Like, you know, maybe he'll have a year or two where it's like top 10 and maybe if the Grizzlies are ever really, really good, like he's getting some MVP buzz. Or do we think like there's a higher, like he can be a perennial top 10 guy? I think this is just about where he is. Vince Carter. $14, I have LeBron. I feel like this is just about right for Braun now. Which is actually crazy to say. He still has like a gear that he can reach where he's unbelievably, like where he's absolutely a top set. I did not even realize this was the picture I used. I did not even realize this was the picture that I used. But he still has that gear where he can tap into, where it's LeBron. 40, 10, and 9 in the final game of that Nugget series. With a bad foot. But it's just not where it's not where it's a consistent thing anymore, which is fine because he's 38 and just averaged 28 points a game. Which is still insane. Like LeBron to be at this stage in his career, 20 years in, 38 years old, and I like top 14 is crazy, man. Sorry, Cat just said when he retires, he'll have changed the game. Yeah, that's why I have him at 48. Not impressive anymore. It's pretty fucking impressive. But not the same age. LeBron is the least likable sports athlete in sports history who hasn't actually committed a crime. What? That's so crazy to me. No way. LeBron just, like, for the attention LeBron's got his entire life, feels like he's just been a good boy. People really do hate Bron. It's kind of crazy. LeBron at 14. Dame at 13. I had him in my top 5 at the midseason one. an absurd season, got shut down. They were terrible, but he was otherworldly. $32 points a game this season. 46% from the field, 37 from deep, 91 from the free throw line. Crazy for this one? Wait. You think Dame is higher or lower? 64% true shooting. Holy shit. There's got to be some type of record there for guards. Like there's got to be some type of record. I could actually see putting Dame in the top 10. $71 in regular time, yeah. Record for best whistle in history. He does have a very friendly whistle. '99th percentile in shot quality and creation. Absurd. I think Dame is better than SGA. I'm pretty sure I have SGA next. I do have SGA 12. Here's why I would have SGA above Dame. Dame is definitely the better and more consistent offensive player. Shea is like a good defender. Shea dropped 31 points a game this season as well. And is like a good defender. SGA did drop. It pains me so dearly. But I gotta give the playoff guys their fucking flowers, man. I'm sorry. He didn't do anything to drop at all. It's just guys had really good playoffs. And that's just that's how it goes. That's how it goes. 31.5 points per game. A block and a steal. Way too low on Shea. Listen, you're talking to like one of the biggest non-Thunder Shea Gilgeous-Alexander stands there is. How's it beat over SGA? Okay, we got to get a little serious. All right, so who would you have SGA over? I think AD belongs here. He was a fucking defensive force. Like, he was the best defender in the playoffs, I think fairly comfortably. Oh, you can't do AD behind Butler. I was having the same dilemma. I was having the same exact dilemma. AD was a defensive force in the playoffs. I actually considered putting AD fifth at one point. But only because I wanted to be on some hater shit for some other players. .130 defensive rating with AD on the court versus Nuggets. That's just Jokic, man. That's just Jokic. Yeah, AD's scoring is not, it's just not where it is, but he's still a defensive force. Still a defensive force. I have Jimmy. It really went down. I mean, it really is remarkable what the Heat did. Hold on a second. I'm ordering food. It really is remarkable what the Heat did because Jimmy really did kind of fall off. If only regular season, Jimmy would probably not be in top 15. No, because midseason I had him 11th. Like, Jimmy had a really good regular season, too. I feel like your midseason ranking will have Jimmy around 25. Next year? I doubt it. Dude, he was good in the regular season, too. But he was remarkable against the Bucks, but then he fucked his ankle up. So it's like, can I put too much blame on him? Like, he was playing with a bad ankle the whole playoffs and still was in control of the game. Like, the game still ran through him, though. Playoff tax, man. I think he belongs top 10 for now. I could maybe drop him below AD and Shea. And maybe even Dame, if it weren't for the playoff tax. But now we're firmly in the top 10. Here we go. Mark, I think that the hero stuff was a smokescreen. Like, it was just, all right, let's throw like the Nuggets game plan out of whack a little bit. At number 9, it's Kawhi. I'm not gonna lie, I thought about putting him at 5. I thought about putting Kawhi at 5, but I cannot do it. When Kawhi is on the floor, he's a top 5 player in the game. Through and through. But he just cannot stay on the court, and it pains me so greatly. It pains me so greatly, man. I know, at some point you got to play. But my God, he was tearing him up, dude. God, he's so good. 38 points in game 1 in that miraculous win against the Suns. 54% from the field, 60% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. The next game, 31 points, 55% from the field, 60% from the free throw line, or from the 3. Like, Jesus, man. When this guy gets going, it is fucking crazy. I mean, it is. When he's locked in the playoffs, he is, besides LeBron James, the best player I've ever seen. I'm being dead serious. Whenever I've seen this guy locked in the playoffs, it is unlike anything I've ever laid eyes on. It is crazy to watch. But you just got to stay on the floor at some point, dude. It's just a sad reality. Don't know if he'll ever be talked about as one of the bigger what-if careers, because he does have 2 finals MVPs, 2 championships, was the lead guy on one of those. You know, will be a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. But, I mean, I honestly think Kawhi has, like, top 13, 14 all-time peak if he stays healthy. Maybe even better than that. It's a damn shame. I did watch Kobe. Kobe was amazing, too. But I'm telling, like, maybe it's just because it was against the Mavericks, but what he did in 2021, like, it was insane. Here's KD at 8. What's up with the KD shit? We already talked about this earlier. What's up with it? Also, can't really stay on the floor anymore, although I will give him that he's been on the floor in the playoffs at least. But he's been dealing with injuries lately. Tatum respect. I already told you guys, I'm kind of easing up on Tatum a tiny bit. KD has had 2 questionable postseasons in a row for KD standards. 2 very questionable postseason series in a row. The numbers were there for him volume-wise in this postseason run, but efficiency-wise for KD, it just wasn't. It's actually crazy to say that because 60% true shooting this postseason. But he was 67% on the year. So it is like a downtick. Why are you easing up on Tatum? Have you not witnessed him play? He's good, but he's like Jimmy Butler tier, not the Booker Luka tier. I think all of these guys in this area are very close. Oh, okay. We skipped a page. Oh, ho, 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 ho. 7, Joel Embiid. At some point, you got to play good in the playoffs. At some point, you got to play good in the playoffs. And I'm so down and disappointed on him. I don't give a shit. At some point, you got to come to play in the playoffs, man. You want to be in the best player in the world conversations? That's cool. There are expectations that come with that. There are expectations that come with that. You can't be turning the ball over 5 times a fucking game in the playoffs, going minutes and minutes without touching the ball. It's not good enough. And your defense is insanely overrated. Defense is absurdly overrated. Might be one of the most overrated skills in the league, in the postseason at least. He was torched in the playoffs. Anuj with the $5 donation. Dude, please don't ease up on Tatum. I'm a Celtics fan who's tired of him shrinking in big moments. He's not a superstar. It's not necessarily easing up on Tatum. It's more Embiid hate. He got pants by Tatum in Game 7. Yeah, he did. Now, I actually forget who I have 6th. Because it's going to set off the chat one way or the other. Game 6 was right there and he choked it. Exactly. He went scoreless for how long? He went how long without touching the ball? Go get the fucking ball. That's not an excuse in my opinion. Go get the ball. You just won the MVP. Oh, I didn't get past the ball for 5 minutes. Go fucking get it. Grab a rebound and bring the ball up the floor. Go out to the perimeter. Here, give me the fucking ball. It's not an excuse. It's just not. At some point, you got to show up in the playoffs. And you're about to be 30. Grow up. Who do I have number 6? I think I know who it is, but I think I want to switch it. Devin Booker, number 6. What I thought. He deserves this. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he deserves this. I know that he really struggled the last 2 games, and I know he had another disaster closeout game. But how much of that was he was literally doing everything on the floor? Take out the last 2 games of the postseason. 37 points a game, 61% from the field, and 51% from deep. 7 assists as well. And an over 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. In 9 games, too. Like, it was crazy what he was doing. It was crazy what he was doing in the playoffs. And, I mean, I will give them some props for taking that Nuggets team to 6. I'll give him some props. Like, he was absurd. His shot making is incredible. His shot creation is incredible. It's fun to hate on him. There's that rivalry, I know. But I mean, the game is the game. He's really good. It's better for the Heat and Mavericks rivalry if Devin Booker is really fucking good, by the way. Like, I'm just letting you know. I'm here for a fun rivalry. It makes sports fandom more entertaining and fun. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to swap. I do have Tatum at 5, which shocked me. Admittedly, it did shock me as somebody who has been called a Tatum hater endlessly. His lows are lower than any other player in this tier. We've already talked about this a bunch. What did Tatum do to move up? I don't know how much of it was that, other than Embiid has to drop. I think KD has to drop after his postseason. Kawhi can't stay healthy to save his life. And I mean, listen, he dropped 50 in game 7. And I do have to respect, although I was shitting on him, I do have to respect the, oh my God, the season is over. Tatum is 1 of 15 from the field in game 6. And then he just hits 4 threes in a row to win the game. Like, are Tatum's highs even that high? Man, he dropped 51 in a game 7. Like, yeah, they're pretty high. I think Jimmy should be over Tatum. Jimmy just really fell off after that Bucks series, man. If Jimmy kept up that level of play all throughout his postseason run, then he'd be like top 4. 50 was a bit of a stat pad. And I will admit, his 30 points per game, it always feels like I'm watching Celtics games and then it's like, wait, how is Tatum averaging 30? But he's still good. And yes, his defense is very solid. And he is a solid playmaker. I do wish he had a more of a go-to thing when he needed a bucket. That's what he could easily develop a post game. That's his next step. He could easily develop a go-to post game. Cuz like the sidestep 3 is cool when it goes in, but Tatum meat riders like you. Oh, this is actually hilarious. So I've gone from a Tatum hater to a Tatum meat rider in the span of like 2 weeks. Hell yeah. That's how you know I'm right. He just doesn't shoot a midi, but he used to. It's very weird. He could easily develop one. There's no reason why he couldn't. Give me reasoning for Tatum over Booker currently slightly. Bit of a better defender. Bigger. Better three-point shooter. Chicken or beef? Chicken. Ass or tita? Ass. All right, top 4. Stephen Curry. Steph right here, 4th. Where'd you rank Bam? I think we had Bam at 21 or something like that. Another great season from Steph Curry. I mean, what really is there to say? Masterful Game 7 performance against the Kings. .50 bomb. 2 50 bombs in Game 7s this year. Gap between top 4 and the rest of the top 10. Oh, a big one. A very big one. I'm happy you brought that up. Yes. There is a sizable gap after 5. In my opinion. Like a pretty sizable tier gap, I think. Book greater than Steph? All right. You've lost the plot. Gap between 1 and 4. I definitely think Jokic has solidified himself. Yeah, somebody just brought up Cat's comments. I mean, what is there to say about Steph? Yeah, I got Luke at 3. Yeah, what of it? You know, this postseason, watching some of these star players made me appreciate Luka much more. Like, watching some guys struggle mightily. Makes me appreciate what Luka does much more. And he had a great season. Is it his fault that he plays for Mark Cuban? No, it's not his fault. He didn't ask for it. Is it his fault that historically this team is just incapable of doing anything right? No, it's not his fault at all. I can't hold that against him. 32 points a game. 8 rebounds, 8 assists. 50% from the field, 34 from deep, 74 from the free throw line. That needs to get cleaned up. 61% true shooting with that volume is just crazy. And you look at his postseason performance, right? Didn't make it this year, obviously. Not his fault. 31 points per game as a 20-year-old in year 2 against the championship favorites entering that postseason, the Clippers. 35.7 the next year. 31 in his Western Conference Finals run. 32.5 points per game in his postseason career. Has Embiid even scored 32 points in a single postseason game once? No, I'm just kidding. And listen, you guys think I'm done? I'm just getting fucking started. All right? You think I sat through this monstrosity of a season? If you think I sat through this absolute monstrosity of an NBA season from the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm just going to sit here all summer and be miserable, you're out of your mind. The offseason has officially started. The propaganda, the delusion, it's ramping up. It's go time. You think I'm going to sit here? Well, Luka didn't make the playoffs. He's top 7. Like, I can't have him in the top 3. Go fuck yourself. He's top 3. Deal with it. And it's going to be a long summer of it, too. And a long season next year when the Mavericks figure it out. And I'm saying that Luka is the best player in the league by November 4th. It's go time. His worst series was 32-96. Yeah, I mean, his worst series was a series against the Warriors, where he averaged 32 points. Like, what the hell? Number 2 is Giannis. Do we hold the back stuff against him? I really can't. He was clearly hurt. Still, I mean, trust me, I wanted to put Luka too. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I got to have some integrity. People wouldn't care at all about what I said if I didn't have any integrity at all. 45% from the free throw line in the series against the Heat, by the way. You already lost integrity for 7-6-5? No. No. Giannis is definitely the second best player in the league, and we all know who number 1 is. Is there a single... is there anybody out there who disagrees? I highly doubt it. Completely solidified himself. Yeah, Giannis is a sneaky injury guy. Boring watch? No way Jokic is a boring watch. He's honestly all by himself. He really is. Read his playoff stats. Statistically, one of the absolute most dominant postseason runs in the history of the sport. $30 points a game. 10 rebounds, 9.5 assists, only 3.5 turnovers, 54% from the field, 46 from deep, 80 from the free throw line. 63% true shooting. And honestly, not bad defense. Just a masterful postseason run. One of the best players to ever play the sport. Very happy that we get to watch him. Very happy that we got to watch him play. Hot take, but I think Jokic, Giannis are tied all time. Everyone says Giannis because the defensive player of the year. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think that's a hot take. Great picture with Murray, MPJ, and Jokic's kid. Yeah, I like this one because you had all of the Nuggets. The big three. So yeah, there's my top 100. What are we at? 3.5 hours? That's not half bad. I am about to do a quick sign off though. I'm about to pass out. I'm so hungry. Who's the next duo to team up? Is Giannis bound so they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals next year? I feel like Embiid's time might be a little. I feel like Embiid's time in Philly is on a timer. I love my list. I love my list. What up, Sam? You getting that smell from Philly? I mean, let's just say Harden leaves and then they flame out again next year. Like, what is the ceiling? Like, what? How are you? Like, what's the pathway? What are we looking at? Well, we just did our top 100 players list, and I'm about to end the stream. I'll briefly look over the Ringer top 100. Or do I save that for Friday? No, we'll just do it now. Friday, we're going to do another. So Fridays from here on out are going to be PowerPoint streams. It'll be PowerPoint streams. I don't know where I'm going to put Wembanyama. You can go back and rewatch the streams. They are available. Steph at 2, KD at 4, Embiid at 5, Tatum. I mean, Luka at 7. What the fuck? This is so dumb. I don't. Jamal at 16 is kind of nuts. Sabonis at 20? All right, I've had enough. I've absolutely had enough. I've literally seen all I'm capable of seeing. I've seen everything there is to possibly see. I'm still scrolling. Cat ahead of Draymond. Kyrie at 40. Chris Paul ahead of LaMelo Ball. I've absolutely seen enough. All right, guys. Thank you guys very much for coming out. It was a long stream. It was a fun stream. I think a great stream. If you guys missed parts of it, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put some timestamps in so you guys can kind of scroll through. But a fun stream. Thank you guys very much. All of the OGs, you guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Wednesday afternoon anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Regular content on the channel. I'm going to post a video tomorrow going over the 5 best off-season moves from last year. And then we'll stream on Friday. I think we're going to do a PowerPoint presentation. The 10 ranking the last 10 draft classes. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Regular content on the channel. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. I love you guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Video tomorrow, live stream Friday. I'm going on Locked On Mavs. I think on Friday. So I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.